everybody. Welcome. How we doing? Who's in the house? I see some names. I hope it started. Okay, I think it started. Let me know that it's going because you never know. Okay, there we go. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Nikisha. Good to see you guys. It's been a minute, huh? Johnny. Good to see you. Hey, guys. What's up? Hope you guys have had a good couple of weeks. I think it's been 2 weeks since I've been back on. I went away to Atlanta for a week, so I was busy just doing whatever. And yeah, it's been a minute, y'all. How we doing, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, so we're gonna wait for a few more people to trickle in. But guys, I'm so excited to be back. Let's get going and let's have some fun. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, so yeah, Sarah, absolutely. We'll get to it in just a second. So we're just gonna wait for a few more people to trickle in. So welcome, guys. My name is Jacqueline. Those of you who know me, you know me. We always have a lot of fun here. We get to build such a beautiful community. I'm so excited for this. Hey, Jamie, good to see you. So for those of you who are new, welcome. So it's very easy how basically it works. So I'm going to start off with a group reading just so everybody gets something. And then if people, this is of course not expected, but if people give donations, essentially you lock your position and you get a longer reading. If not, I'll go through everybody else's questions. But essentially, if somebody gives, like Tim just did, if you give a donation, of course, you just, lock your position and then you get first place. So let me write this down too, by the way, because I don't want to forget. All right, let's just do it here. Tim, Johnny, got you guys. Loni, good to see you. Naomi, hi. Oh, I'm so sorry. You had a worker who recently passed away. I'm so sorry, hon. And then Sarah, I see you got somebody who's no contact. So guys, just hold on. So obviously we got Tim and Johnny first. By the way, guys, I just want to remind you, and Nikisha, I want to remind you that when you're here, I promise you that oftentimes when I'm doing readings for other people, it's oftentimes something that's going to resonate with you. And there's always something that you're going to take home from these readings because I channel everything. So I even surprise myself sometimes what comes out of my mouth. Yeah, I'm not that smart or that wise. Let's just put it down to that. Okay, so let's start with the group reading just quickly so we can get everybody. Aw, thank you, Nikisha. Yeah, I hope so, guys. I mean, I hope so. Hopefully, just mix two words together. Hopefully, everybody is a new word now that's going to go in the English dictionary, or better, in the Jacqueline dictionary. All right, give me one sec, guys. I'm just getting all the cards out. Sweet. All right, so let's begin with the group reading. So I'm just going to take a second just to connect with you guys. And if you like, of course, send me some energy. Tell your spiritual team to send me their energy or anything that basically you need to hear at this time in the group reading, or of course after when you get the one-on-one if you want a one-on-one. Let's see what's to come. Oh, this one was hot. It literally gets hot in my hands when I pick the cards. So, by the way, I've had a very interesting week. I've had Allison. Hi, good to see you again. So I don't usually. I mean, for those of you who know my past history, I had severe depression for most of my life, and I cured myself mostly of it. And yeah, pretty much I cured myself. I don't really have depression anymore. Of course, you have those moments, right? Or anxiety. But I had been having a bit of a interesting shift happening because everything's happening very fast at the moment. And I'm sure some of you may be realizing that because of the year of the horse, the energies are moving fast. Everything is just, it's intense. And I had spouts of depression the other day, and it was very interesting, because first and foremost, it sucks, just FYI. But luckily, I have the tools to move out of it, and I did very quickly. But it was so interesting because as I was in this depression, I'm like, man, there must be something here that I need to learn. And I had 2 days that were really rough. Just, it almost seemed like somebody cursed me, and when like, something bad happens and you get a message and something bad happens, then I hit my head against something and then like you stumble on the floor. Like it was just one of those days that I swear to God, I was like, I am not moving or answering my phone today. Um, But I felt like in my subconscious, I was hearing information, and essentially it was telling me, like, hey, you're clearing out stuff. Like, this is all coming up because this is blocked stuff that needs to be addressed immediately and it needs to be cleared out. And it was very interesting. And then I did a performance in class because I perform. And when I fail, guys, just so you know, I fail in front of like 50 people. It's not like a small failure. Okay. It's embarrassing. When you embarrass yourself, it's bad. And of course, that was one of those days. I said something that I don't know if it came out the right way. And you mean very well. And until you say it after in front of people, you realize how it sounds. And you're like, that sounded really bad. And that was not my intention at all. Anyway, it was embarrassing. So then on top of everything else, I was mortified from this thing that I did on stage. My performance was okay, but I was so off. And anyway, I walked off and I was like, Jesus. So I took a whole day just to like grieve and just to let it be. And then I just did like a little ritual in the mirror. And this morning, as I was waking up, by the way, I'm still doing the root reading as I'm talking, I heard a voice in my head. And because I was asking, I was like, listen, what do I do? Like, I'm kind of lost here a little bit. Like, it's a little bit hard. Everything seems to not going my way. Like, what do you want me to do? And I was asking really about like my career, because I've got so many things going on at the same time that it's just been a bit challenging for me to manage everything. And it was the weirdest answer, because I did this ritual literally to get this answer. And I heard it this morning as I woke up, and it said, you need to be happy. And then I watched this thing on Bashar, and I was like realizing, and I was like, it sounds so silly. And I know, again, if somebody's in depression, it's like, thank you very much. That no shit, Sherlock. But I understood what it meant by you need to be happy. You need to seek happiness, because this life is always going to be up and down. Shit's always going to happen. But if you can keep a happy frequency, if you can keep an elevated frequency, it doesn't matter what happens, you'll figure it out, or you'll move out of it. And it will bring in more things that are in alignment with what you want. Because at the end of the day, happiness is the only thing that we really have, because things will go. So it was a weird download, but I understood it in a subconscious way. Not so much, I'm not very good at explaining it, but I hope some of you understood that. And again, happiness means following your passion and do what makes you good, and just choosing better every time, no matter what the obstacle is. So today I felt amazing after that, because I was like, I get it. I feel it. I know what you meant. So maybe I'll be able to break it down. And it's not a fake happiness, because that's not good either. It's just genuine. It's like, find what fulfills you and make decisions that align with that. Then things will be better and be okay. And suddenly all these things just opened up because of this shift that happened within me. So it's something I wanted to share. Yes. So hopefully it's something that I will share. So let's get into the reading. Okay. Okay, I'm just laughing because I feel like this is my reading, but maybe something that you guys can also, it's kind of in alignment with what I was saying. So the first card that came in, it was ego, internal politics. Oh, I like that, Kelly. Yeah, Johnny, I love Bashar. I think he's definitely follow your excitement. Yes. So it's funny how the little messages follow through with the download that I got today. So essentially what I'm hearing here, though, guys, is I think this is an example of what I went through. Essentially, there's a bit of an ego breakdown. There's a bit of an identity shift happening for a lot of us. Ego, again, remind yourself that it's your identity, what you identify with. And when we identify with something, it can also cause a lot of pain. So let's just say I identify as somebody who is, I don't know, let's not go into politics, but let's just say, like, I identify as somebody who is an actor, okay, but I'm not booking any acting work. Guess what happens? It's painful, right? Or I identify as somebody who's a multimillionaire and have millions of dollars. Well, guess what? You're going to be in pain. So the point that I'm trying to say here is that the ego creates attachments, and attachments create suffering. So you can still identify in a manifestational way as something, showing up as it, but the material part of it should not matter. And that's where the ego kind of kicks in. When we have the attachment to the material, that's where the suffering happens, because in reality, everything is just energy. Everything is really, if you think about it, an illusion, because we're going to die anyway one day. So if you can hold an identity in something where you can hold that delulu, maybe, if you like, and still be happy in it without having it, I think that's also how you manifest, then that's fine. But a lot of us are not really that, it's not that easy to do that. So what I'm hearing here is that a lot of the ego wounds and a lot of the things that we have to face within us in order to upgrade, in order to shift, are going to come up. or are coming up for a lot of us. So essentially, this is also to do with the mind. Whenever you have swords, it's all to do with the mind. So it's internal. So it's not even exactly like real. It's more what we're telling ourselves, what we believe. So what I'm hearing here essentially, it's like we gotta start shifting some of these beliefs. And I want you guys to start looking at the things that are causing suffering in your life. What is the most painful part in your life? Whether it's family, whether it's money, whether it's your job. And then ask yourself, what is my attachment to it? Because that's where you'll find the suffering oftentimes. It's like in my family, I have an expectation that everybody would respect me and speak to me kindly. That expectation, that attachment to that expectation, unfortunately, is the part that causes the suffering. What if you take away that expectation? Suddenly, it's not, I mean, it can still hurt you, but it's not going to be as painful because now you don't have an expectation left. You don't have an attachment to a certain outcome or to a certain, I want this person to treat me a certain way. So what I'm hearing here is there's a lot of this going on. The other thing that I'm hearing here is, oh, okay. So this is really, again, it's really in alignment with what I just said. And I didn't mean to do that, but it's just how it came out the cards. And I think it's also self-reading here because you guys are here because you're a reflection, right? So the sun essentially is like, I'm hearing that this is all coming up again, like I said, and that's the download that I received for myself. There's a lot of upgrading and shifting that needs to happen. And the best way to learn, guys, is sometimes to fall flat on your face. Like I said, that embarrassing moment that I had on stage taught me so much in that 20 minutes that I was up there, more so than like a year sometimes when you do great. And that's the part that sucks because we like to think that when we do something great, it's like, oh, okay, I've learned my lesson. It's like, no, when you fail, when you fall flat on your face, when things are difficult and you still choose to overcome it, that's when you learn the most. And that's when you can have the biggest breakthroughs. And that's when you have the greatest shifts. Because you got to remember how the mind also works, right? Memory, the parts of us that we remember, oftentimes are created by heightened emotional moments. It's like a snapshot. So when we have that snapshot, we remember it because it's not just in the mind, it's physical, it's emotional, it's the combination of the Trinity. And that Trinity creates an imprint in our subconscious so we can remember things. That's why when we have bad experiences, we remember them. Okay. And then finally, we got contemplation. Okay. So I'm feeling like a lot of us are feeling a little defeated at the moment. I feel like some of us are also feeling a little bit sad or depressed. I'm feeling there's a lot of heavy energy with some of you guys. This is a general reading, remember, so it's not going to be all of you, or at least you might have people around you. And this has been me literally like for 2 days. That's literally what I look like. Traumatized, and I don't know what that is, but that's what I felt like I looked like. So I'm sure, in the scale of like that kind of look, I'm sure some of you are feeling this. And I'm seeing even just a couple of like messages here. People's like feeling like I'm not quite sure or what's going on, or there's a sense of like looking out and hoping for something better, but not knowing how to get there. Okay. So yeah, so that's what's coming up energetically. It's okay though, because it all comes down to this breakthrough. So I invite you guys really to learn to teach yourself to, yeah, I'm going to feel it and have your moment. I'm not saying ever to reject those emotions because they're there for a reason. They need to be felt. And I cried and I had my moment. I felt sorry for myself, but I ain't staying down. I'm like, let's go. I'm like, I've done this a million times, especially when I used to have my depression. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. There's just no way. And you have to have that. I'm going to figure this out. I don't know how, but I'm going to give it a go every single day. And if I have to fall flat on my face every single day, that's okay, because at least I build self-respect, because at least I'm trying. It's when you don't try that you make it kind of worse sometimes. And I know it's easier said than done, trust me, but that's one thing, the key elements that I've learned about when you have depression is that when you give up, it wins. So, yeah. Okay, so we got the list going right now. So we have Tim, who is first, and I have Johnny, and then I have Nakisha. And then if nobody else gives a donation, guys, hang around, and then I will take questions for everybody else. So no problem, but you're going to have to hang around because they've given the donation. So, Timmy, what you doing? What's happening? What's popping? Sorry, I'm not Cardi B. What am I doing? Cardi B is in the house. Yeah, what's up, man? Oh, that's hilarious. How are you? What's been going on? So, yep, depressed and heavy are the vibes. What's going on, dude? Hey guys, for those of you just joined, we just started doing the one-on-one readings. So I will get to everybody. Everybody. You get a reading, you get a reading, you get a reading. And while Tim is typing, yeah, so I've been very busy, y'all. I've been very busy building some stuff. So always make sure to follow me on the socials and all that so you can find out about it. Once I announce it, it's going to be, I'd say, a month or two, and it's going to be very exciting. So hopefully you guys will take advantage. But I can't say it here. So follow me on the socials. Go to my profile. So what's your question, Tim? Are you typing still? Hi, Piggy. Munchkins. I got the little guinea pigs down there. I'm assuming he's typing, guys, so we gotta be patient. Unless he disappeared. He ran away. He said, oh, and then he was gone. La la la. And let me just check a couple of things as well. I just want to see you guys. Okay. Good evening, Tid. I was like, good evening. Tim, are you still there? I don't know if you're writing an essay or you actually, I can see your picture. I typed up a lot text sent, but it may be too much to copy and paste. Yeah, I didn't see it. Spark notes. Hi, Virginie? I don't know how to say that name. Hello, welcome. So right now I'm giving a reading to the people I've given donations, but if you hang around, I will get to you guys as well. So no pressure. No, just hang around. We'll get there. Very British evening, yes. Haha. I love that. Welcome, guys. So I'm just waiting for Tim just to type up. Apparently there's a lot going on. So when people give a donation, for those of you who are new, essentially they just lock their position in and they get a longer reading. But I will also get to people who don't want to give a donation. No stress whatsoever. It's just be a quicker reading and then we'll get through as many questions as we can. But it takes a minute. Do you want to break it down, Tim? Because it seems like you're writing a book. Okay, here we go. California trip was great. Had a feeling that ended amicably. Started smoking weed again. I know. I told you can't go to LA without smoking weed, dude. Had an excellent birthday and found I have many friends in Boise. That's cool. Yeah, weed is tricky. It's a hard one. You cannot be around people who smoke. I told you. If you quit smoking, we love to think the idea that you can, but it's so hard to do that. It's like if you're drinking, if you're quitting drinking and you're around people that drink, it's just it activates the subconscious mechanism in your body. It's physical beyond, it's beyond the emotional, it's beyond the intellectual. It's literally primal and physical. It gets in your DNA. So, and I know this because I quit weed myself, so I know exactly what that feels like. And it's like if you're around that environment, everything within you just like, wants it, and your brain will start making up the biggest stories in their heads to basically like make you use. One of my friends I talked to you about took care of me on my birthday, and I feel romantic feelings pop back up, but I think I need to repeat that cycle. So I think I need to be a hermit for a couple of weeks. Is that just me avoiding my emotions though? Okay, let's find out. So isolation can be an avoidant behavior for sure. I did make it through the California trip without smoking and was proud, but I overloaded myself the next weekend, and here we are. Well, good for you. At least you did it, and you're proving to yourself that. Yeah, I know, but it's hard, Tim. It's not easy to quit. People really underestimate the power of weed. It's said that it's like this thing. I mean, some people, it's like alcohol. Some people can have it and it doesn't phase them, and other people, they have one sip and that's it. So I know, because for me, weed, it was like crack. I could not go without it. Hey Max, how you doing? Welcome. So I'm just giving a reading now to Tim, and then let's find out. These cards want to come out today. Oop, hello. I know you want to come out. Oh, did you want to come out? Okay. Oh, there we go. And I'm gonna get one more energy. Oh, okay, my cards want to come out. Hey guys, welcome, welcome everybody who's just joined in. So we're just doing a reading for Tim right now. Just given a donation. I've got 2 more people who've given donations, and then I will be taking questions. So hang around, and this will also probably resonate with you. So yeah, that's what I thought. So quick question, Tim. Are you seeing, do you get a therapist or anything? Are you seeing anyone professional? Okay. So the first the first card that came up was decadence and indulgence. And I love this because this is literally like women in a cup, and cup represents emotions. And then look what she's doing. Looks like she's smoking a pipe. So I feel like this is you right now. All of the back, all of the wounds, all of the stuff have just basically, I know it's funny, right? Because it literally looks like it. So this is literally representing you. I think this is the Tim card. I feel like just women and indulgence. But listen, okay, so the cups essentially mean something a little bit more than that, Tim. So there's a couple of things that I'm receiving here. One of them, this is like very obviously subconscious programming, okay? Um, so the cups represents emotions, right? And so what I'm hearing here is there's a part of you that needs this desire, this high feeling, okay? And of course, the way that you go and seek it is through the things that you know you get that quick fix from. Hey Larissa, thank you so much for the question. Yes, I will get to you. We're just doing the people who have given donations first, and then I will get to everybody else. Um, so what I'm hearing here is that you got to start learning, Tim, to give yourself those things without seeking them from the known, which is this is the hard part. This is when you found something that works, right? Because there is a reason why you're going to it, because you do get that fix. But then guess what happens, right? Then you feel like shit about it. And this is the recovery retreat. So this is why you feel like you need to isolate as well, because like anything, when you go too high, you can only manage it for so long, and then there's going to come the lows with that. So your energy is basically like doing like this, okay? So it's big waves. And I know when you smoke, you don't smoke once in a while, you're probably smoking every single day, right? So you got to think of it also energetically in your body. You're expanding your energy field every time you smoke, and then it has to come back down to its normal energy. So that's one thing that I realized when I quit smoking. I was like, because I was thinking about manifesting. I always think about manifestation because I'm a very good manifester. But when I was smoking, I couldn't manifest because you're not in your energy. You're constantly expanding your energy and retracting, and expanding and retracting. So you're not energetically stable. It's like any addict, which is why you guys are a big target for entities and demonic beings, because they're like, great, I can go and tempt that person and take their energy. So the problem with that is that when you do, it's exhausting energetically. This is exhausting. Your body, your energy field is not meant to be doing that all day long. And when you smoke, it lasts for about an hour. I mean, I used to smoke pretty much every hour, when I was smoking. So it's like a cigarette or a drink or whatever. It's like when you start drinking, you just keep drinking, because again, it's that expansion, and then it starts retracting, and then you're like, no, 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 I want to bring it back here. And then it goes back. With any substance, that's what we end up doing. Even sex, or even the fantasy of sex, or food. Some people have a food addiction, right? So it's that high that we get, and then it comes back, and we try to bring it back to that. So that is exhausting. And then of course you have that crash, right? So then you have to recharge your battery. You can't be around people. I mean, I still feel like that sometimes, even though I don't use anything anymore. But and then the mind starts going crazy, because everything is being affected. It's not just your body. It's not just, it's your body, your energy field, and the mind. And so you're trying to basically bring yourself back to normal, right? So that's the end. No, I'm joking. So what I'm hearing here as well is I do feel like you actually, and I don't usually get entities and stuff, but I do feel like you have entities attached to you that are tempting you. However they form, whether it's like, I mean, maybe it's just a form of your subconscious mind that is like, it's I see it as that. But you know, you got to understand that there, whether it's a subconscious mind or whether it's something outside or whether it's real or not, doesn't really matter. But the point is that's how it works. You got to think of it kind of like there's little gremlins out there putting tricks and little like things out there for you, so you keep doing that so they can keep basically feeding on your energy. um so status surge. So the reason why this has happened, my friend, is because you started to actually reclaim your power and you actually started to make some changes. So what happens, think of it kind of like this, right? When you start making changes, it's almost like your environment, the temperature of the environment that you're in gets heightened. You're always used to at 70 degrees, and now we've gotten up to 75 degrees. It's uncomfortable. You're not used to it. Things, relationships, communication, how you are out in the world, because your energy is not doing this anymore, because you're walking out with a stable energy, you experience the world in a very different way. And the key to sobriety in general is to try and maintain that even through the painful states, even through the challenges, because you know, when you want to drink or smoke, it's like, I'm happy, I'll drink. I'm sad, I'll drink. I'm bored, I'll drink. You know, there's always a reason for it, or smoking or whatever. So you gotta get used to that high temperature, and you gotta be aware of the fact that that's what's happening, and you gotta be aware of the fact of the temptations. I'll give you the best example. I always tell you this story. It's like, you know, Tim, when I smoked. So when I decided to quit smoking, guess where I went? I went to Jamaica. Okay, I've never had Jamaica smoke. It was my dream as a smoker, and I did not smoke because I knew I could not go there, because I knew the minute I smoked, you know, that was it. I'm back down the rabbit hole, and now I have to climb this freaking mountain again just to get through those 2 or 3 days where I don't, you know, I'm not clawing up the walls just because I want to smoke. So you have to be always kind of one step ahead of yourself. You have to learn your rhythms, you have to learn your patterns, you have to learn your cycles, and but above all, you have to learn the tricks that you play on yourself to get yourself back to the temperature that you're comfortable to. So your mind will do things, you will manifest things. I even had somebody give me a huge bag of weed when I quit. And of course, it happens when you quit, right? Not when you needed it, not when you were smoking, but it's almost like these little things on the outside were like, here's a little temptation. And you're like, no. You know, it's like, it's free. What do you mean it's free? What do you mean Jamaica? What do you mean all these things? But if you see yourself as a non-smoker and you say, hey, I'm not this person anymore, I'm this person here, this has no power over me. And then suddenly, yeah, you're going to be tempted, yeah, you're going to want it, yeah, all the things. But if you can be ahead of yourself, you can stop it. Okay, so now let's get to hey Cassie, good to see you. So let's get to the next thing. So a couple of things is what I'm hearing here, Tim, is that you really got to start stepping out of your comfort zone, and you have to start breaking cycles. So what does this mean is that you have to go so far fetched from what you know and what you understand in order to shock your system, so it has to adapt much quicker. What do I mean by this? One of the things that did come up is possible therapy. I don't think that this is something that you have to do by yourself. I think this is something that you have to admit, because in society, smoking weed is taken as like, oh, it's not a big deal, you know? And it's like, for some people, no, it's like the same thing with alcohol. For some people, it's not. But for people like you and me, this is like meth. Like, we cannot get off this stuff. So you need help. I was able to do it on my own. I don't know how, but I did it. But I was also willing to look for help. I was even looking to AA meetings around the place to maybe go and find, you know, some kind of support system, because I was like, I don't know how to do this. But I'm hearing for you, it's important to get that support, because you respond well to help, and you have this energy that you really want to feel loved, because that's part of the reason why you're smoking and chasing women. And so if you can find some kind of uh, parental figure in this person who's basically going to show up every week, is going to listen to you, is going to hopefully give you some guidance, I think it's going to actually fill a little bit of that void, and it's going to really motivate you to keep going, because you did so well for so long and you have the willpower to do it. So I know you can do it on your own, But why do you have to make it harder for yourself, right? If you can actually get somebody to help you to make it a little bit easier. And then the other thing that came up was the dolphin people. So when the dolphin people come up, it's basically, hi, Eve, welcome. Basically, this is all about getting distracted. So you'll easily also get distracted. And so I think you're the type of person that sometimes needs somebody to keep you accountable once in a while. You need that, again, that parental, that stability of that person that holds you accountable so it can bring your energy back and remind you of who you are. Eve, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely, my love. So right now I'm doing the donation. So I have 3 people who have given donations. So essentially I go through them first, and then if you hang around, I will take questions for everybody else. Unless, of course, you want to give a donation, then you just lock your position in. But of course, that's not expected. Yeah, Max, same thing. So I'll get there, guys. Don't worry. But this will also, guys, again, if I'm giving readings to other people, trust me, there's going to be information in there for you too. I can see myself being a little bit blurry, but hopefully you guys can hear me fine. So does that make sense, Tim? So the point that I'm trying to make here, Tim, with you is that you are actually doing great, and you are still doing great, and don't see it as a setback, okay? Because when you're getting sober, when you're fixing things, whether it's women or smoking, it's this roller coaster, okay? And it's going to be longer and longer times that you're going to get the sobriety until one day it's just going to click. But I'm hearing here that you need a bit of support, and you really need to do things that are your comfort zone. So, oh, that's okay, Eve. You don't have to give a donation, my love. That's why I do readings after. So right now there's 3 people who have given donations. And so people, when they give donations, of course, because they paid something, so they basically lock their position in. But then after the donations, I'm open for everybody else. So if you hang around, I'll get you, my friend. So don't stress. Yes, I had some near perfect momentum for a couple of months, and my men's group helped out. But that's what I'm saying, Tim. You need that support. You need that group support. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think there's so much power to having, especially for men. They need a lot of support and community, because you guys have to hold, like, you guys are the containers, right? But just because you're the container doesn't mean that you yourself don't need support. And if a man doesn't have that structure or that security within themselves, it's very hard for them to maintain it. So you're doing great, Tim. Don't beat yourself up. I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but you have to understand how the mechanics work, okay? I backslid a bit and was thinking isolation from friends was somehow what I needed, but I think challenging myself to do more things, yes. And also, again, be careful with who you hang around with. I mean, again, as a smoker, Tim, I hate to tell you, but you cannot hang around people who smoke, okay? So if you're trying to get sober and you're around people who smoke, it's just not going to happen. So I'm not saying do not go and see friends, but just pick the friends who don't smoke 24/7 and that trigger that within you. But I do recommend that you should look for somebody who's more of a professional, maybe even better help. I don't know, I've tried it once, but like something that's affordable, just to have that like stability. Like when you set your mind to it, I even found one therapist that was like $100 a session. You know, it's still a bit of money, but it wasn't like crazy amounts, right? So I highly recommend that you do that, because I think you're going to find a lot of benefit to that. And again, you need that accountability and that stability, okay? But I don't see you should be isolating. I think you should just be stepping out of your comfort zone and figuring out what can help you and support you right now to keep that version of you that is in the heightened temperature, okay? Because it's going to keep trying to pull you back, keep trying to pull you back. Okay, so Tim, is that good? Do you feel like you got what you needed? I see myself just like like a computer. No worries, my friend. Listen, you got this, and you're doing amazing, okay? It's completely normal to go back and forth, but just keep aiming to keep getting better, okay? And you'll get there. I promise you, you will. And I know you can. Okay, Johnny, you're next. All right, I'm considering a new energy healing course. Please, can I get some guidance to see if this is a good fit and how to make the most of it. I've done a few courses in the past year, and although I really enjoy them, I'm still feeling I'm missing an important puzzle piece. Okay. Well, first and foremost, congrats to actually put the time. I'm looking for the right permission slip, as Bashar would say. Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah, there is one place that I really want to go to, which is called the Hof. It's not the Hof method as in like Wim Hof. It's like the Hof something, where it's like a retreat where you go for like a week, and it's an intensive family healing thing, but it's not cheap. So I'm putting it out there to the universe if like you can send me the money so I can go. Okay, so let me tune in. Do I need to sneeze? You know, when you point it out and then you don't sneeze, that's what just happened, but it's going to surprise me. Okay, so sorry. Tuning in. Okay, so let's see what comes up. Okay, these ones want to come. No. Okay. I had the funniest song in my head. You guys know I always get songs in my head. So I had to move the card, and all I heard was like, "Move, get out the way." You know, that ludicrous song. Sorry, I can't help it. It's just my mind, how it works. Like, why is that song in my head? Ooh, that one flew out. Okay, a lot of queen energy. Wow, these flew out. Oh, damn. Okay. Sorry, you got like 3 people sitting on a throne, which is amazing. Oh, okay. That's a new one. Ooh, hello. Hello, it's me. I've been wondering. Okay. This is new. Okay, so I love this. Look at this. So you got literally 3 people sitting on a throne. Okay, so there's a synchronicity there. What I'm seeing here, though, most importantly, is the colors. So I saw we got the green, the blue, and the purple. So I'm hearing here heart chakra, throat chakra, and top chakras. So I'm just reading your question again, so I want to make sure. Hey, Yanessa, good to see you. Now that song is stuck in you, Kelly. She's like, oh no, it's not a bad song to have. Um, okay. So what I'm hearing here is first and foremost, I do think that you're going to meet somebody who, I mean, I'm seeing somebody in a position of power, but I also feel like, oh, wow, this is coming through very interesting. So a couple of things I'm hearing, Johnny, is one of them, it's basically like, you don't, the reason why you're going through so many is because there's different levels to your healing. It's not just one level. It's not like one course is going to unlock everything, or one course is going to give you all the answers, which is why unfortunately we have to, and all of us, like, healing is like the layers of an onion, right? So okay, sorry, I heard something downstairs. I'm like, my husband's not here, I'm here by myself, so might have to get ninja with somebody. Okay. So there's different levels to it, and literally these are the levels. So I'm hearing with you as well, it's the 3 chakras here, right? The 3 chakras need some kind of unlocking. And I think there might be multiple courses, and each one is going to unlock a different chakra. Got your back, Nikisha. Love it. She's like, if I was there, I'd be right with you. I mean, luckily I can fight, I think. Hopefully I'll be fine. I'm fine. I'm good. So the heart, so again, the home and family that came up. career and relationships again, and stability and efficiency, taking charge of a situation. So I think again each one also represents different levels. So I do think that there is like some stuff to do with the family that is still like in the subconscious. There is I'm also hearing something about like being in a position of power, being comfortable with your power as well. um so yeah, let me get back to that because I just want to see what else the cards have to say. Okay. So the first card that came up here was the sadness. Okay. So there is still this wounded version of you that still needs this healing, which is why you keep getting this calling, Johnny. I mean, it's like it's the mom and the dad with the baby horse. So I feel like there's some childhood stuff. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but I still feel like there's a lot of that in a child wounding and a lot of stuff to do with your past that needs to be healed. But literally the card said great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself and others. So again, that heart chakra space, right, needs to be unlocked. Then the next one, it's again the need to balance emotions. An invitation to a social event. So again, I'm hearing that this is going to be something that is going to open up the emotions, help you understand the deeper levels of your emotional state. And so I'm hearing again, this is all good stuff. I think you're being called to it for a reason and it's needed. And some of the stuff as well, like I'm hearing, it's very subconscious, but it's also energetic, which is why it's difficult to pinpoint. So sometimes the emotional stuff, it's easier to pinpoint than the energetic stuff. Energetic, I'm talking about like DNA stuff, even like it's ancestral, like it's in your coding, it's the agreements that you made prior to coming into this incarnation. So there is some of that stuff that you're, I think, going to start to become aware of more and more. And there's deeper layers than the layers that we think, which is why healing is such an epic undertaking. Guys, stop fighting. They're so cute, though. Oh my God. A significant life event, a powerful revelation that leads to change, time to spread your wings. So, what I'm hearing here is that whatever you're doing, I think maybe you might not feel it as though it's having this big impact on you, but it is. And I think this, whatever this thing that you're being called to do, is going to make some big shifts in your life because once you start understanding and once you start, it's almost like again like what I said here, the three layers, right? When you unlock one layer, it's like it's kind of like a video game, right? You unlock level 1 and then you get into level 2 and it's like ready to fight and it's like a bigger demon that you have to fight, but like the reward is so much bigger. So that's the levels that you're going through. There's just different levels to it, but this is going to unlock something, as well as you've come into your own new partnership or contracts, sorry, contacts also possibly. Continue to move forward. So yeah, honestly, Johnny, there's just like what I'm hearing here is there's like some soul stuff here. This is like deep DNA energetic contracts that you have to unlock and that you came to learn, which is probably why you feel this calling, but at the same time it's hard for you to pinpoint and maybe put together because it's beyond, like I said, the emotional and the physical. I think this is like a spiritual thing for you. It's something that you're like, I don't know why, but I'm getting this calling, I'm getting this feeling, and I just know I got to do this for some reason. And it's stuff that sometimes even we don't really understand because we might not actually need to. Sometimes it's just we have to do it. I don't know if that made sense. So yeah, so does that help? I don't know if I answered your question, but that's what came up. In my last reading, you mentioned I need to heal my heart and step into my royal self. Well, that makes sense there. Okay, because again, literally these are the levels: the heart chakra, the throat chakra. So if you unlock the heart chakra, it will take you to the next level, which is the throat chakra. And by the way, guys, the throat chakra is the portal between the physical and the spiritual. And then when you unlock that, you're going to get to the higher chakras, which is the purple. And they were literally in this order when they came up. And that's the royal self. That's you, because the prior to those, there were two females. The last one was a male on a throne. So that also says something. And the number 4 is the emperor, which is also the number 4 is the number of stability, balance, and law. So when we get the number 4, it's like you're restoring the law, you're restoring the contracts, you're restoring the energies. I do feel like you're going to meet somebody in this retreat, though, that you're going to make a friendship with or some kind of connection with, by the way. I do feel like you're going to feel some kind of soul contract again. So it's like someone's going to come and help you along the way. I did see that. But it's also going to bring up a lot of the emotions and some stuff that maybe might surprise you. And hopefully it's something that can also, like, again, help you understand this energetic thing, because it's a little difficult to decode. It's not as easy. Okay. So you're welcome, Johnny. It feels positive to me too. I think it's the right thing. I think you're called for it. I think there's a reason why you need to do it. So, I'm interested to see what comes up. So please, if you do it, let me know, because there's something here, but there's definitely different levels. Thank you, Loni. Okay, so Nakisha is next, and then we have Loni after that. 4 also shows that you're on the right path. Oh, nice. 4 is my life path number. So there's a lot to do with numerology as well. And 4 is, yeah, if you're a life path number 4, you're going to have to work hard. Sorry, guys. If you have 4 in your numbers, that's better. But if you're a life path number 4, if you don't work hard, it's going to be tough. All right, Nakisha, you're next. What's your question, my love? And then we have Loni. And I will dance for you guys in the meantime while we wait. I would not do that. That's terrible. That is a sad moment in time. Actually, I can kind of dance. I cannot sing. That I cannot do. Do the Peanut dance. Oh, yeah, my husband's mad at Peanut. He's been waking him up early. I get up early, but my husband is a sleeper. So Peanut sometimes likes to bark because he's a Chihuahua. And so my husband was so mad this morning because he woke me up early. I'm like, you let a Chihuahua ruin your day? I don't know, man. my husband has war with Peanut. Nakisha, are you typing? Just checking in if you know that you're next. So yeah, I love Peanut though. He's the best. For those of you who don't know, Peanut's my dog. He does an appearance once in a while. He's becoming quite famous online. He's been in a few commercials, and when I do my lives on TikTok as well, I have him, and people love him. He's a character. He just sleeps in my arms, and is just all cuddly. All right, Nakisha, did you just let me know that you're typing or something? Oh, there we go. I'm currently planning a retreat focusing on getting back to nature and building a community. This is the first retreat that I will be planning. However, I am not a facilitator, so I have been back and forth about if I should focus only on building retreats for facilitators or facilitate a few of my own. Okay, well, let's see what comes up. And a couple of the hamsters pass away. And one day, 2 hamsters died. And then my grandmother died too. It's like, that's the kind of week that I was having, guys. Ooh, okay. That one fell out, so. Yeah, so that's what I meant. I was like, when one thing after the other, it's like, just one thing after the other keeps happening. It was like that. Oh, okay. What the? Oh, okay. That's all right, Kelly. Yeah, it was unexpected all of them. One of them was unexpected, of the hamsters. Can't remember what happened to the other one. I guess it must have blocked it out. And then my grandmother, yeah, that was unexpected. We're kind of looking into it because We have a feeling that the nursing home did a bit of a mistake. And but my grandmother was a handful. She was not an easy person, and even she went out kicking and swinging. Trust me, she would wander at night in because she had her own apartment, but it was in a nursing home, and they would find her like walking naked at night and just in other people's houses. she yeah she was always a character. So yeah, and she's difficult as well. Like she likes to fight. She likes to argue. She likes to complain, and she liked to fight. So I think she's in a better place because she was not happy. Okay, so Nikisha, what we got? The teachers will be doing a breath work and ceremonies. Oh, I love that. Yeah, Kelly, it's tough, you know. And she was built. She was basically getting dementia, you know, as well, which I knew that was going to happen because she was such a routine person. Okay, so I love this, by the way, because this to me looks like a retreat, right? Like two people holding hands, and I'm like, I'm not getting like a romance thing. I'm literally getting two people like connecting energetically and that kind of thing. So it's gonna be like a lot of heart chakra awakening for people. I feel like there's going to be a lot of healing, and I think it's going to be actually very abundant because the green color again represents abundance, heart chakra, and all that sort of stuff. So that fell out on its own. It wasn't even in the pile that I connected to. But I think what you're basically asking me is like, should you be more involved as a facilitator, or should you just basically step back and facilitate the thing, right? Is that what you mean? So not facilitate, but run it, or facilitate and run it. Because what I got, I'm just going to tell you what I got, Nikisha. For the first one, what I'm getting is that you should be in the position of leadership, because that's going to be needed. I think if you get involved, nothing wrong with that. You should definitely have the time for that. But yeah, I feel like you should just be running it. So if you see this, this is the first card, right? She's looking down at everybody. She's taking care of everybody else. So when you run this kind of thing, there has to be somebody in a more stable position. But what ends up happening is that if you need to step in and facilitate, then you can. But if you're already facilitating and there's nobody in a position to lead, then that's going to be missing, and it can create chaos. Um, so I feel like you should take more of the position of the leadership for sure. So yeah, so and I don't know what that one means. But again, I feel like spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, self-discovery. So I feel like eventually you'd be able to do that for the other ones, but for this one I'm hearing that you should really just like step back and be the like I said, the anchor or the light, or that that wise one that can sort of run everything from the side. Um, so shine from within. Yeah, we don't want that one. But again, a retreat feeling, right? People connecting and all that sort of stuff. And I think it's also important for you to also observe a little bit more, because you're going to learn a lot from that. There's going to be a lot of like more downloads and information that you're going to get. You're going to have more understanding of how to better it next time. And again, if you're in it, sometimes you can't see these things. And I know because I've been to a lot of group stuff, and I did a lot of stuff at the Owl's Nest. And like when you're in it, sometimes when you're participating, you miss out on sometimes what's going on. But when you're stepping back and you have the bird's eye view, you can see where the gaps are happening. And I remember one where like just the teacher wasn't sensitive enough to somebody's needs, and like some of us picked up on it, some of us didn't. But if you're sitting in a position of watching, you can catch that kind of thing. But if you're in it, then you miss it, you see. And the girl that was running it, excuse me, missed it, and then she got a sad email from one of the clients saying, hey, like that woman was not attentive to my needs at all, and she actually triggered me really badly. So when you're sitting back, and again, it doesn't mean that you're being lazy, because there's so many other things that you can do around that position, but it puts you in a position of okay. And then when you find the gap to put your little foot in, or maybe run a meditation or whatever, then you can do that. but just be aware of that. And then the other thing is like find balance. I feel like this is you. Look at that. That's you. So find balance between your work, rest, and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony, and productive in your life. Take a power nap. So again, Nakisha, I think you're very much a doer and you want to be involved because that's your instincts, right? You just want to be a part of it and you want to help. But sometimes, again, when we do that, we take on more than we can handle, and then it has a repercussion. So when we step back and we hold that position in the right place, the energy balances and we can help other people. But if you have no energy left, you have no awareness, you're not going to be able to help that. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Because you're a helper, you're a healer, you want to help people, right? But sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do is step back. But you think that it's a weak position because it's like, well, I'm being lazy and I'm not helping and I'm not doing. That's not true. Having a position of power is very important because you take on other responsibilities that other people should not and cannot. So oftentimes you will find that these retreats that somebody's going to need something at the last minute or something happen over there, and if you're in on it and you can't fix that, somebody else who's maybe not qualified or doesn't know how to do that has to step in, and it can cause big problems. So especially for your first one, until you get a method going, a momentum going, I'm really hearing it strongly, you need to just be in the position of stepping back. And like I said, if you want to do one event, one kind of thing, that's fine. Or if something happens and you're needed to step in for somebody else, then at least you'll be able to do that. But it's very important that you learn this, especially because you don't want to learn this the hard way. Okay? Yeah, you don't want to learn this the hard way, where shit hits the fan and then you're like, oh well, the universe kind of told me that, and I just was not listening because I just want to be a part of everything, you know. So just be smart about it. Don't work hard, work smart. Hey Nicola, how you doing? So does that make sense? And you know, I mean, it's just one of those things that it's like, you know, don't learn the hard way. Just please don't do learn the hard way. All right. Is there anything else I can help you with, Nakisha? Tea. I got chamomile tea, by the way, guys. I was good. No caffeine. You're so welcome, my friend. You got this. I wish I could come to the retreat. I want to go. Okay, Loni, you're next, my love. Bam! I love it. She's like ready. She's like, bam. Okay, I don't know what is going on with me. I got moved to a new area at work and my nervous system is extremely active to the point where it takes me a few days to calm down from it. I feel very insecure and self-critical, which is not like me, at least not for the self-critical part. That's okay. I also think I may be depressed. I feel like I am a mess right now, not sure what I should do. Do I need to find a new place to work? Or is the problem internal? Okay, great question. Well, I'm sorry you're going through this, my love. Let's just find out. July 26th, 30th. Hey, guys. That's going to be fun. Okay, so yeah, Sarah. So, well, Nicola just gave a donation, so I'm sorry, but we'll get there. Don't worry. Um, so I'm just tuning in. Okay. All right. Let's find out. Okay. And Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Nicola. I got you guys down. Okay. Oop. So I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, I'm not seeing this as a bad thing, my love. I actually see that this is going to be a good thing, but let's find out what's going on underneath that, because it could be interesting. Anything else? I'm not getting... Oop. Okay. So I'm actually going to need more cards because I'm getting something, but I want to know what's going on underneath, what the trigger is, and that's not coming up. I'm seeing the solution, which is fine, but I want to understand what's going on underneath, why you're so triggered. And I kind of heard it in my head. Because the cards look pretty good. So, you got a great card. Enjoy the outcome, Loney. I think what it is that what I heard in my head, Loney, is that you have a bit of an issue with allowing yourself, and this is very subconscious, by the way, to win, to celebrate. It's almost like sometimes when we're so used to having bad things happening to us, that when we're given something good, it's so unfamiliar that our nervous system freaks out. So I don't see this as a bad thing. I just see this as a massive change. And this change actually is creating a ripple effect in your life, literally energetically as well, because you had to physically move somewhere, right? So that can create essentially like it just feels like chaos, and the chaos is scary because it's again the unknown. This is unfamiliar. It's taking you out of your safety, but what is really happening behind it all is this teaching you to strengthen your heart and to strengthen certain parts of you. And again, wisdom of experience. So it's just this, it's just time. They wanted you, it's almost like they're really pushing you out of your comfort zone. It's what I kind of said at the beginning of this reading, that a lot of us, there's no time left. Time is also speeding up at the same time. So, what's happening is that the things that we have to heal, the things that we have to overcome, the things that we have to face, it's just happening now, and it's being pushed on some of us, and this is one of those for you. So what I'm hearing is, first and foremost, your emotions is completely valid. Like, there's a reason why you're feeling this. It's not because it's coming out of nowhere, okay? But what I'm hearing is just be patient, give it a bit of time until you adjust, until you adapt. One of the other things that I also heard here is like, call on the angelic realm, and ask them to help you through this. Ask them to give you signs, to give you clarity on why you're in this situation, because that's the part that I think you're having a hard time. When we're forced to do something, it's difficult for us to accept it and let it go. It's not something that sounds like you chose. And so I think there's also some trauma there where it's like, this is something that was forced upon you, or you feel as though it was forced upon you, as opposed to this was my choice. And I think there's something there from your past that is linked to that, that it actually triggered something in the subconscious, and which is why the depression happened. So a situation has ended and you're finally free. New opportunities for happiness will follow. Put the past behind you. So there is a need to surrender. There's a need of acceptance. There's a need of, okay, this is what it is. And again, like I said at the beginning of the group reading, is like, what is your identity? What is your attachment? Because sometimes it's like, I'm so attached to the life that I had before, or the place that I was living in, or what is that attachment that is painful? And we have to somehow embrace that and accept that, and remind yourself that you can always change that. But as of now, there's a lot of subconscious triggers that are happening because your whole world's just been like shook. Um, they're saying though, instinctively you know what to do, but right now it's a little bit difficult because you're in fight or flight. So when you're in fight or flight, everything, it's just a it's the best way I can describe how we feel sometimes. Is like, what do I do? Where do I go? And all you're hearing is like, you know, because it's too much. Everything is just too much. So again, I'm hearing You got to calm down your nervous system. You got to just acceptance and letting go is really the key right now. But doesn't mean that you're stuck. I think there's a part of you that feels like it's either trapped or stuck or forced, or there's just some kind of even like almost violent kind of energy that I'm feeling, like this forceful thing that's happening. So again, the final card is like your worries are unnecessary because this is going to shift. Whatever you're feeling right now, whatever's going on right now, and especially listen, when you're in depression and when you're in that really funky space, it feels like it's going to go forever. It feels like it's never going to end. And that's not true. And that's what I was telling myself as well when I went through my spouts of depression. Is one thing I know for sure is that change is inevitable. You can never stay in one spot forever. Things will change. So when you're in a depressive state, that should kind of give you a state of hope because it sucks to be in that. The other thing is that they're saying that you've actually done really well getting additional training. So there's something here that you really got to learn. Um, so again, when I was going through that, is like what I asked myself is what am I learning from the situation? What is the situation teaching me? Because these things don't happen out of nowhere. There's something here that I need to upgrade or shift or learn. I have to strengthen myself to get to the next level. So I understand that you're feeling like this, but just give it a bit of time, Loney, before you make any decisions. And don't making decisions from a place of panic or fear or anxiety, because we never make good choices from that place. We want to make it from a place of, I know this is the right thing for me and I'm in a stable emotional place to make this choice. So when you do it from that place, if you're still unhappy and it's just not working out for you, because maybe that could be the lesson, I don't see it right now, but you're doing it from a place of like, I've done everything that I needed to do. I stepped into my power and it still wasn't the right thing for me. I'm ready to move to the next thing. But when you do it, it's like, I don't like this, I don't hate this. It's almost like the inner child's like having these big waves of emotions, and we miss out on maybe what's underneath it because we're so fixated on that thing that we want, that attachment that I was talking about, that we don't see the gifts maybe that are around us. Again, easy said for me to say, obviously, because I'm in this situation, but I know what it's like to be forced to go to a place that you don't want to be. When I was moved from from Italy to Australia, I hated it for years. And I resisted it for so long. And that resistance that I had because I did not want to accept that I was living there caused so much suffering. But the minute I said, this is my life now, I have to accept it and I have to adapt. What do I need to do to adapt? Suddenly everything got a lot easier. So I prolonged the suffering because I resisted the reality of my where I was living at that time. So does that make sense, Loney? DW, hey, what's up? Yeah, absolutely. So we've had two more people giving donations. So I've got Nicola next and then Kelly. And then after that, if you guys hang around, I will give you a reading. Of course, if you'd like to also give a donation, you're more than welcome to. And then you just lock your position in, but it's not expected. Yes, this is not how I thought I would read. I appreciate you. What did you think was gonna come through? Like I thought that I would be, yes, you should leave. I don't see it. I mean, and in fact, the first card that came up was a girl sitting there and relaxing and enjoying it. Um, and this just happened as well. So you got to understand that when you make a shift, it does take a minute for your system to adapt. Again, Loney, I'm reading cards here. So let's also take a moment to be real. As much as I'm in the woo woo world, you got to know what's best for you. And you got to take what I say as well with a grain of salt. But if this is resonating with you, and there's a part of you that's saying, I think there's some truth to that, then listen. But again, let's be real here. I mean, as much as I am all about the magic and I know I have deep wisdom coming through, like I want you guys to be empowered with the decisions that you make and not ever give me the position of power to decide your life ever. No reader should ever do that. It's your choice. You can leave if you want to, but understand, are you leaving out of fear, out of uncomfortable, Or are you leaving because you're leaving from an empowered choice? Very different energies, right? And so what I'm hearing here is there's a lot of fear. There's triggers happening. And the triggers doesn't mean that you're unsafe. It just feels unsafe because of past traumas. And right now, what I saw is that this is happening because it's teaching you something that you have to overcome and that you're ready for. And sometimes what happens is that when we move from a place of fear, the next place we go to, it's still going to be there. So we can't run away sometimes from certain things that are ready to be healed, even though we physically might move place, right? So I'd say just give it a little bit of time. But the beautiful thing is, I think, Loni, give yourself permission to leave if you want to. If it gets to a point where it's just so unbearable, you know, because it's like when I quit smoking, it's like I'm going to quit and I'm going to commit to my sobriety. But if this doesn't work out after a year, I can still go back and smoke. Sometimes you got to give yourself that permission, that door out, just in case. So what I'm hearing here is like, listen, I'm going to give it 3 months, 5 months. Give yourself a realistic time frame to settle in, because when you move, it takes time. So give yourself a time frame, maybe 3 months, okay? A bit of time, not unbearable though, right? So give yourself 3 months. And if in 3 months nothing good happens and I'm still feeling depressed and miserable, I'm getting the F out of here. So now you suddenly feel like you've got some level of control, and you're also giving the universe an ultimatum, like, give me a reason to freaking stay. Show me the reason why I'm here. Because if this doesn't make any sense, I'm gone. Okay? But you also have to just check in with yourself. And again, you're making a decision now from an empowered place. You're not running away. You're actually saying, okay, I'm going to commit to this. What have you got? I feel very gangster right now. It's like, what you got? But do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So I would say, Loni, just sit down with yourself and give yourself a realistic time frame. I would say 3 months is a good time frame, you know, to know. It's always say that, by the way, for those of you who are dating, 3 months is a good time to know someone. Okay, that used to be my key, but it's true. Within 3 months, you will know if this is right for you. Within 3 months, you will get all of the red flags, all of the green flags. You will know, okay? So 3 months, or whatever feels right to you, maybe 5 months, maybe 6 months, whatever you feel like you can handle. And if within that time frame it doesn't feel right, then you can give yourself permission to leave. So does that feel a little bit better? Good. Because that's what you want. You want to make a decision that feels empowering to you. But also, I think that if you left, I don't think you would feel empowered either. I think you would feel like you would still question whether you did the right thing or not, because you're questioning it. If you knew, you know, at the end of the day, if it's really that unbearable, get the fuck out, you know? Like, but sometimes we also have to look at what's going on underneath, because there could be other things that we may not see or understand, and we have to also accept that too, because the ego doesn't like change. So do you have any? Oh, you're so welcome, Loni. I'm sorry you're going through this though, but hey, take power back, okay? You're not completely powerless in the situation. There are things that you can do, but keep asking yourself the question, what am I learning from this? What is coming up? Do some automatic writing. Write to yourself, speak to yourself. I've been doing mirror work lately. I did a whole freaking seance in the bathroom by myself. Just to, because I was going through my stuff and I'm like, I'm going to face it. I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to speak to myself. I felt my emotions. I spoke to myself in the mirror. I told myself what I wanted to hear. I do these practices all the time. You feel like an absolute idiot when you do them. But then I got a download this morning. Do I think it's a coincidence? No. It's because I did the practices. I know they work. I don't know how, but they do. So whatever you can do right now to make yourself feel better, start doing it, okay? Take your power back. You're not completely powerless. All right, Loni, I'm sending you the best, okay? But do automatic writing or mirror work or something, okay? You have to do it though, guys. You can't just think about it. Like, you have to sit down and do the practices. All right, Nicola, what's your question? Okay, so I have Nicola, and then I have Kelly, and then I'll be open. Unless somebody else gives a donation, then we'll be open. Yanessa. October 7th. You gotta add, yeah, and absolutely. I will do a list after I get through everybody who's given a donation, and then you guys can definitely be on the list after that. So 10, 1978. You got a lot of sevens. Yeah, you're a 6. So you have 1776. Nikolai, you there? Okay, it's your turn. What's up? I don't think you heard me. How are ya? What's going on? Oh, I don't see it. I think you do this every time where you write. If you write too much, I don't think it comes through. So you have to break it down. I don't see anything. Yeah, sorry. If you look back even, I don't see it here unless it's on your end, but there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what happened? So the situation with this guy is not good. So what else happened? So how can I help you with the situation? What do you want the outcome to be? Because I remember when I gave you the first reading about this situation, and I told you that this would become very rocky. So uh, how can I help you in the sense of like, what do you want the solution to be? Because when we're in these type of relationships that you're in, it just goes back and forth a lot. This guy's losing almost 3 members of family in 2 months. He's not in a good place. And where do you fit in? Okay, so what I'm hearing here essentially is that you feel a little bit pushed aside because of the situation that he's going through. And you just don't feel like you belong to his life anymore because he's just had all this stuff happen, right? So Yanessa, by the way, six life path is it Yanessa did it? Yeah. Are all about family. He's hiding in support, not his fault. It's her name badly. He's hiding and support. He's not receiving support and not his fault. And I think you mean he's hurting badly. Okay. Um yeah, so I do see, I'm not reading the message in these ones, I'm more seeing the images. So you see how there's somebody here, and dad is dying now, and I'm no, yeah. So you see how this guy is surrounded by a circle, and this guy has got his arms, both of them got their arms folded, and they're kind of like this, right? So you know he's shut down. You know that his probably doesn't know how to cope with all of this, it looks like he's just going through a lot, like you said, and it's normal for somebody who's going through all of this stuff to behave a little bit off, to be a little bit, I don't know, and I think let me see, let me get more from it because so you got this last time, and I feel like it's just going to keep happening. I keep hearing that you just got to focus on your art right now, because you're bringing a lot of your attention and energy towards this person who doesn't want to be helped. And the problem with that is that I know you feel like you're left out, but that's because, in a way, he is shutting everybody out. I don't think he's just shutting you out. I think he's shutting everybody out. And from what I can tell, it's just he doesn't know how to handle it. You know, it's you lose two people and then his parents are dying on top of that. It's a lot for a person to take on, for anybody to take on. And I've lost friendships with people because when they've gone through stuff, they wouldn't let me in. And at the time, I was a rescuer and I wanted to save everybody. Um, there's nothing you can do about that, Nicola. So I feel like you're constantly trying to nudge yourself, and I know because you care about this person. I'm getting that, my love, and I think it's a beautiful thing that you care about this person, and I think it's an amazing thing that you want to help them. But you can't knock somebody's door down and force them to let you in. You know, I think there's a reason why he's shutting off, and the best thing that I feel like with people like this, you just got to be patient. You have to wait for them to to be ready and just let them know that you are here. Just message them and say, "Hey, I'm here if you need anything. Can I come over and help you out? Can I do something for you?" That is the only thing that you can do. If he's not capable of letting people in, you you forcing yourself into that person's energy can create real problems, and it can make them act up. I don't know what they can do, you know. And even this thing is things not turning out the way you hoped, not seeing the positive in the situation, crying over spilt milk. Literally, that's what the card says. Okay, so the Two of Cups, and it's just broken. You know, you feel broken because you wanted this connection with this person. You had this connection, and then this thing that has suddenly happened to him has shifted the connection that you guys have. Um, yeah, and I get it. Sometimes some people push people away because they cry for help. But if you're trying and trying and trying, how many times can you get shoved back until you go, enough is enough? So, what I'm hearing here is that you have a choice to break free from this situation, okay? You have a choice to walk away or to break free from the suffering. Yeah. And do what you love, time for great personal growth in your career and artistic endeavors. Again, I keep hearing this. Move this energy into your creative stuff, move this energy into expressing your emotions and creating some powerful art. Um, the other thing is like embrace your inner child, new friendships, rekindle relationships. So I don't know, because of this new relationship, maybe you've spent so much time focusing on it, but it's saying there's other relationships here that you can also nurture and start focusing on, or at least calling in, so that you don't feel so empty, or that you don't feel like something was taken from you. And then make a wish, dreams come true, reality for a joyful time. So there is so much again for you to be happy about, but this is consuming all of your time and your energy, and it's creating a lot of suffering. Because again, going back to my initial reading, the group reading, we're identified now with this person, we've attached ourselves, and this person is now um my source of happiness. And if they're not there, now I'm in pain. And it's like, again, you're just chasing your own shadow. It's nothing you can do. If somebody does not want to let you in, Nicola, it's not going to happen. You cannot force yourself into somebody's energy. And I know your intention is good and I know you mean well, but not everybody works that way. Just because you would, or just because somebody maybe who's, I don't know, you know? So the problem is that I'm hearing here is that like you gotta shift your energy away from this person, and it doesn't mean you don't care about them. It doesn't mean you're not gonna help them if they open up. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is you gotta start because you're suffering. You're suffering so much, and your obsessive mind going over and over, um, because you want this thing that you can't have, and that behavior becomes very toxic, not just for mostly for you. So what I'm hearing here is that you need to break free from this and start focusing on relationships that do work, focusing on people that bring you a different type of joy, going out and maybe meeting new people. Um, he shut everyone out, and but that's what I'm saying. It's not even you, it's everyone. Like it's very clear that this guy is not letting anybody in. You can see he's literally got a ring, a wall around him, and then he's turned his back and he's just, no, I don't want that. I don't want anybody to help me. He, again, some men don't know also how to feel. And when you have four people die all of a sudden, even with me, like I've had a few people recently die, and like what, it's hard to process. Death is a weird thing. So the best thing that you can do is just let him know, I'm here if you need me. I will check in once a week just to make sure that you know I still care and that we still have a connection. But I got to step back, and that's for yourself. So I'm not sure how I can help you because we've this. I'm gonna be a broken record basically because it's very clear with the energies, and they keep telling me for you to keep focusing on your business, focusing on your art. Use this time for the emotions that you are feeling, and you're meeting people locally, absolutely, and that's what I love, and that's what they're saying is like, girl, there's so much good stuff out there. There's so much positive relationships that you can now create. But if you're stuck on this person, it's like you have you it sucks your time, and then time is the most precious thing that you have, and then you can't create new relationships because you're zoomed in on this thing that you can't have. Yeah. And Max, that's a good point. What I say is always, when everything is important, nothing's important. So you have to learn to prioritize, and in this situation, Nicole, I think for you, um, your priority is yourself, your art, and your happiness. When somebody takes that away, and again, he's not taking it away, it's just like we're hoping, whatever it is, your life is shit. Every day is shit for something that you cannot change, you have no power over. Sad best friend, mother and father. I will text every Friday, I'm leaving. I'm doing a grief course for myself. Amazing. See, and this is awesome, Nicola. Like, I do feel like there's some good stuff coming up for you. I really, really do. Like, this is the last two cards that you got, and I think you're gonna make some new connections. But use this time as well to wish for something better, that you're worthy, for somebody who doesn't shut you out. And that's not his fault. I'm sure he's got his reasons for it, but you got to focus on yourself. And sometimes somebody who's down can really bring you down as well. you know so you've got some good stuff going, you've got some possible new relationships happening, some new connections happening, there's doors that are opening up for you, but you don't want to miss out because of this. You can't let this consume you. If somebody doesn't want help, most healers have to learn this the hard way. If somebody does not want your help, you cannot help them no matter what you do. So does that make sense? Yes, Larissa, we have one more. So we have Kelly after this, and then unless somebody gives a donation, which sometimes it does happen, but it shouldn't, then I'll be getting through a list, and then we'll be going through you guys. So I know, Nicola, I know it's very painful, and I see that, but it's even saying sometimes, what happens is that we make it worse for ourselves because we're constantly attached to this idea that this relationship should be this way, and this person should feel this way about me. And so your ego has gotten attached to this how it should be. I know, but you got this attachment and this expectation that you're not getting, and that's painful. So you got to let it go. Just let it go, just be there for him, and move on. Find something, shift your energy, shift your focus on something that is more in alignment with what's going to make you happy you know um Oh, that's nice, Max. See, Max can relate, so you're not alone in this, Nicola. We've all been there at some point, but you got to understand that you might be continuing the suffering and the pain because he's not budging. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's like you're trying to shift a wall. It's just not going to happen. Good. I love that. And you deserve new friends, my friend. And you are a beautiful soul, and you're going to create some amazing art, but you got to take care of yourself, sweetie. You know? So how do you feel? Do you feel like you at least got some clarity here so I can move on and get to the next reading? And I wish I could give you more, but that's basically, it's pretty straightforward at the end of the day. Oh, I love that. Yes. Time will tell. And it's also, guys, what you choose. You have to make different choices. You got to look at the patterns. Some of us are, and this is speaking for myself, I was addicted to pain. And you don't even realize, because I was safe in my pain. And so I kept recreating things that cause pain. So when you change that, you stop creating the pain, making better decisions, better relationships, but it can be difficult. All right, Nicola. Well, I'm wishing you all the best. I know you got this, okay? I just hope that you feel better and do something nice for yourself today, okay? Do something nice for yourself because your heart deserves to be full and your heart deserves to be loved. And you deserve to love you. Okay? All right, Kelly, what's your next? I'm wanting to know is what I'm wanting to know is I am continuing to have thoughts of moving and possibly doing some kind of work around healing. It is so out of my realm, but it keeps reoccurring. I know I am a helper and empathic. What is this about? So uncomfortable not knowing what I should do. I have been doing a lot of work around being on my own and standing in your power. Sorry, that's a lot. No, it's fine. Okay, let's see what comes up. Ooh, you joined a church too. That's cool. I love that. Yeah, whatever works. You have a fur child. Yay. I'm always happy with fur babies. Give me all of the fur babies. When I tell people about about your readings, I don't know what to call you. My oracle reader, my spiritual guide. I identify as Sir William the Third. No, I'm joking. I identify as a channeler, I'd say, and I don't really so much read the future as much as I give you guys solutions. So I read energy. Um, so I'd say a channeler, but I don't really like channel like Bashar. Although I'd like to do that. I mean, I kind of do channel, but not like him. Like speak in different language. I know, Nicola. Dogs are the best. Oh, there we go. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Sorry, you end with the sassy energy, which I love. Okay. So, a couple of things that came in very, very clearly. So, one of them, you got the werewolf. Um, so, werewolves is really about like tuning into the cycle. So, there's like some kind of cycle. I think this is what you're feeling, right? The constant, like it keeps coming back, right? So when that keeps coming back, it's usually your intuition telling you something. It's usually like, "Hey, this is something that you need to look into." I would say to begin with, if this is something that you're called to do, don't take yourself so seriously, okay? Because when we do this, we make it such a big thing, right? Because maybe you compare yourself to somebody who's already been doing this for a very long time and they hold such a high standard that you're like, I can't do that. Does that mean I can't be that? So, one of the things that I'm hearing here is just notice this pattern that's coming up and notice what you keep doing and just begin to explore it and make it a fun experience. Don't make it something that it's like, I have to change the world and heal people from, like, because then it's just too much pressure. Nobody can take that. But when you do it from a place of like, I just want to help and I want to explore what my gifts are, reveal to me what those gifts are. And you're going to start, like, it took me a long time to discover what I was good at. It didn't just happen. It's me by trying different things. And then suddenly something just clicked. So I did, I started off with making channeled meditations, but I started off doing meditations for myself. So how I started teaching was really teaching myself, and that's how it became a thing. And then I started doing rituals, and then it's going to be probably the next thing that's going to come out. Um, so, and then I did my oracle deck. Like all these things just kind of came about out of my own passion and my own self healing. So for me, it was really a need to heal myself. And when it worked on myself, then I passed it on to other people. But even then, I didn't take myself seriously because I didn't think I could do this. I was like, what am I? Who am I? Right? And that's the second card that came up, the flower fairies. Not sure what it is. I just around helping people way than healing were brought up. Then healing was brought up in other readings. Yeah, and again, like the problem is like Kelly, like I'm hearing here, like when we get the flower fairies is that we're not very confident in ourselves. So the flower fairy is all about having all these gifts and these abilities, but we're not sure how to or what to do or where to go. So the solution's here. One of the things that you need to do is step back. and you need to have a bird's eye view of the situation. So when we have a bird's eye view of the situation, it's almost like emotionally removing yourself and just starting looking at the things in a factual way. So if I was to analyze myself in this situation, is like, oh, I create meditations for myself, I love art, and I love to do readings. Okay, the three things. So there's something here, right? So when you step back and look at yourself from a very objective place, what are the three things that you practice for yourself every single day? Think about Louise Hay. Louise Hay literally invented affirmations. I'm sure there were before that, but she made it a thing. That is literally talking positive about yourself, and she made it a business. And she healed millions of people through that. So sometimes when we're judging ourselves, this is so silly. This is not an important thing. Doesn't have any value. When you're in this low self-esteem vibe, what can actually really be impactful is hard for you to see because you're judging yourself and you're thinking this is not a big deal. But when you step back and look, what do I do that makes me feel better? No matter how silly or vulnerable or stupid it might sound, mirror work or automatic writing or just showing up for fucking somebody and just talking to them, sometimes that's enough. That could be your thing. I don't know. But you got to step back and have an objective perspective. So what I would do if I were you, I'd sit down and make a list. Like I said, I was already creating meditations for myself. I was already I like to draw. I loved art. I loved the mystical stuff, the magical stuff. The next thing that I'm turning into is spells and all this sort of stuff. So I just do what I like, and then I put it out there, and if people like it, great. If it resonates, awesome. If it doesn't, okay, well, I'm still going to be doing it anyway. So the healing, whatever you're meant to teach, it's oftentimes something that you already have, and it's a natural gift that you just have to explore and amplify. And then the more you do it, it will create something. But I'm hearing something here. So I do see that something to do with relationships. Okay, so I do see love and relationships. Past trauma. Yeah. So that's something, Kelly. I'm telling you, what you do for yourself can really help other people. But I do think that you have a gift to do with love and relationships. So there's something here. So this is one thing that came up, right? So I feel like you have this heart chakra, a lot of green again. And I think there's something around that you can do and share. The other thing that came up, again, moon came up twice. Important psychic insights, event behind the scenes, release fears that hold you back. So if you took away all of the fears, all of the judgments, all of the crappy thoughts that we have that I'm not enough and this is blah, 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 who would you want to be? Who would you like to become? And the final card that we got here is this is who you really are, okay? Out of all of these like insecurities and all this sort of stuff, this is the bad bitch that you are, okay? Because that's the healing. Remember what healing is, guys. Very, very important, okay? Healing is the opposite of where you are. So if you're insecure, I don't know why I'm grabbing an imaginary breast. And if you're insecure, the opposite of that is an empowered person. The healing, the journey. If I break something, if I break a bone, the healing is the mending. So through your own healing and through your own self-discovery, that's the very thing that you're going to end up teaching people. That's how it works usually. That's why those obstacles were thrown in your path. They weren't thrown there out of accident. You didn't make an agreement to have so much trauma and so much crappy childhood or whatever you went through, because that's the very thing that when you heal yourself and you teach yourself or people teach you, then you pass it on to other people. That's pretty much how it works. Now the method on how you do that, that's for you to discover. Why am I having moving come up? There's something else that's coming up. I have trauma from marriage, and yes, and I do see that coming up for you. And then why do I see why I have moving coming up? I don't know. Are you moving? What do you mean? So, and by the way, I'm just going to quickly read this while you answer that. Stretch your wings and fly. Don't underestimate yourself. Assert your independence and creativity. So what I'm hearing here is that, Kelly, you got to start telling yourself, I can fucking figure this out. And I am going to figure this out. And I don't know how, but I'm going to do it. That's the type of inner dialogue that you have to start telling yourself. The more you talk to yourself, very important, guys. If I sit here and say to myself, I don't know what to do. I'm kind of like insecure, or I'm not quite sure, but she knows how. And you see the difference between, I don't know how I'm going to figure this out, but I know I am. And I'm inviting my spiritual team and myself to move forward in that direction. When you declare these kind of things for yourselves, you are shifting your energy and you're shifting your subconscious. I've been doing this lately with my acting career. I'm in a phase now that I have to go through a transition, and I was thinking maybe I should quit. I was like, maybe. And then every time I want to quit, I up my game. And I'm like, you know what do I need to do next? How can I step into this version of myself? I'm not going down without a fight, so bring it. What else can I do? Okay, so what I'm hearing, Kelly, is like, check in with your inner dialogue. Okay, and I know you've done a lot of healing, which is amazing, but we've always got layers, right? So check in with your inner dialogue. How do you talk to yourself when it comes to this stuff? Because if you're talking shit and you're being insecure, which is normal, by the way, again, I'm not taking that away, but you can also shift that into something is like, no, I'm going to figure this out. I know I can. I'm smart enough. Look what I've been through. Look what I've overcome. Are you kidding me? You think this is a fucking problem? Are we joking? So again, it's perspective and stepping back and making a list of the things that you're good at. Um, if you feel the urge to leave, maybe you need to go somewhere. I don't know. I don't see it right now. Um, but what I do see is all this stuff that came up. So I want you really to sit down, Kelly, and make a list of the things that you're good at. Whether it is, yeah, I'm good at healing the heart. I am good at, literally make a list. And then some skills that you have. I'm very good with social media. I'm very good at farting. I don't care what it is, okay? The point is, you got to make a list. If you're good at farting and healing people through farts, well, that's a business. No, but what I'm saying is also, and again, you don't do it for make money, right? Of course, it'd be nice, but it's a fulfill. It's being of service, and it's using what you've been through to then make it make sense somehow. Because I get it, when you've had trauma and you've overcome and you're like, now what? Now I'm left with all this trauma, and okay, I've healed myself, but like, what was the point of that? So how can I use this to be of service? How can I use this to help other people? How can I use this to make magic, whatever magic that is to you? um so shift your self-talk and step back and figure out what you're good at, and you've got to be objective about that. Even it's like, I'm good at talking, I'm good at being strong, I'm good at overcome, I'm good at cooking. I don't know, you know? So does that make sense? But I did see relationships. I think there's something there for you to heal relationships. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It could be relationships between spiritual people. It could be a relationship between the spiritual self. It could be a relationship with the self. It could be many things. But that's for you to figure out. And understand that when you guys start following your passion, when you start putting yourself out of your comfort zone and you keep trying, you might get to a dead end and it might not be it, but that will lead you to something else. Somehow the dots will always connect when you're doing stuff in the right direction. Okay, Kelly, do you feel like you got the answer that you were looking for, or do you feel like you need more help with that? And then we're going to get to everybody else, guys. So 1 second. I feel like I need elevator music. Dun, 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 dun. That's not elevator music, but I don't know how to do it. Elevator music is hard, guys. Okay, I'm not sure if you still. I'm assuming you're still here, Kelly. I'm just checking in. Oh, here we go. I really like to work with dementia patients, possibly just went through, and the pool is there. When you say relationship, is that a person? No, I mean as in like relationships, like as in like you might help people in relationships. So like you said, you had marriage, you had trauma from marriage and men, and I think there could be something there for you as well. Talking to other women about not feeling so alone about it, but there's like some sort of heart chakra thing around there. So that's what I meant. I didn't, because we were talking specifically about that. I didn't see a relationship come up. If we shift into that, I could look into that, but that's basically what came up. Does that make sense? Yeah. Ah, you're welcome. Well, best of luck, and please write down that list. Please, 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 okay? I know it's going to be a hard one because you have to look at yourself, but like imagine if you would ask your friend, what are you good at? What would they say? Sometimes that helps as well. So then you have more an objective kind of answer, because when you put it on yourself, sometimes it's hard to see. But when you say, my best friend was here and I asked her, what am I good at? What would she say? And then just write down the first things that come to your head. All right, best of luck. Okay, guys, so we're open to everybody else now who wants to get a quicker reading. So just put your name down, and then I will, yeah, and then I'll just write down your name so I can go down the next list. So we got Ashley, Vicky, what, Vicky first, Ashley, Adrienne, Max, Nikolai. I just gave you a reading. Yeah, Kelly, you definitely gotta work with the confidence though, because that definitely came up big time. Okay, so I have Vicky, Ashley, Adrienne, and Max so far. Okay, so Vicky, you're first. What is your question, my love? Could I get reading about relationship? I have been in a relationship with a lonely man. Oh, that's sweet. See, Cassie was like, "Thanks for us. Thanks for asking the reading, Kelly. I needed this message today, and so excited for the journey, Kelly, and what is in store for you. Thank you, Jacqueline. Oh, you're so welcome, Cassie. Sorry, I'm going to go back. So, a lonely man, but something felt off. Long story short, I suspect that he was married and I challenged him on that. Crickets. He just disappeared, leaving me with no closure. Was my intuition right, and was he married or just extremely avoidant? So, I'm going to use my cards for this one. Sure, and I got you down as well. You're after Max. What about him? Is there any? Oop. Okay, so I do not see deception, but I did see that you guys had a chromatic relationship. So when I see chromatic relationships, it means big waves. Okay, Vicky. So it's like an up and down, up and down. And what this usually tells me is that these type of relationships either need to be broken or need to be mended. I'll get to a little bit more stuff after that, but when we are in chromatic relationships, is there to teach us something. So oftentimes in this kind of situation, like even what you're saying about this person, right? Relationships often are a mirror to do something that we either need to heal or repair within ourselves. So the relationship that we have with ourselves. So what I'm hearing here is with this person is not even so much about the fact whether this person was honest or not. It's like, what did they teach you? Because you had red flags from the beginning, right? And you still chose to move into it. Again, you made a contract because you were meant to go through it, but there is something here that actually made you feel unsafe, and it didn't make you feel like you were a priority. So what this is telling me is that there's a part of you that is unsafe within yourself and is not making yourself priority. So when a woman is very confident with themselves, and again, it's easier said than done. I'm not trying to diminish like the connection or anything like that, but we have to look beyond that. When a woman who's absolutely, I ignore the red flags. Yeah, I know, because you're abandoning yourself, my love. That's the problem. So if a woman is confident in herself and has self-worth, she wouldn't put up with that shit. And can I just tell you, by the way, I've been there myself. I had a boyfriend who I had nowhere to live, okay? And I even asked if he would not let me stay with him in his apartment when I had nowhere to rest my head. I had no money at the time. I asked him if I could sleep in his truck, and he still said no. Okay, so I feel you here. I've been there. Okay, and I still hung out with this person because the truth of the matter, Vicky, is that I had no self esteem and no self worth. Woman has self worth would never put up with something like that. Now, if somebody said that to me, I'm like, bitch, you get me a fucking hotel. That's what's gonna happen. Because if I have no money and you really give a shit about me, you would get me a hotel so you know I'm safe. And I ended up staying at a stranger's house. Okay, that's a whole story and adventure in its own. That was a interesting time in my life. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I get it, and I know what it's like to be putting up with somebody who does not treat you with any fucking respect. And it's because I had no respect for myself. So what this is telling me, my love, and you did get the flower fairy. So the flower fairies is a lot of insecurities, a lot of subconscious stuff going on here. This relationship is teaching you something really big, and it's something that you need to heal. Okay. So one of the things that is coming up here is like, how do you speak to yourself when it comes to a relationship? I will never get somebody better. Oh, he's the one. And like you said, when there's a red flag, what are the story that you tell yourself? What are the excuses? And I want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, how do I treat myself? How do I give myself excuses when I have red flags towards myself? What ways do I abandon myself and not speak out for myself? And self-love here is the key. When you start respecting yourself, Vicky, and you start loving yourself, first and foremost, you don't attract that kind of person anymore. You stop attracting shitty people, because they can't stand it. But second of all, this is a big, big, big healing process for you. So it's not an easy one, but I'm telling you, don't repeat the red flags. With relationships, if we do not heal them, we just recreate the same freaking relationship in a different body until we break the lesson. And my experience was abusive relationships, or people who didn't value me or care about me, as you can see. So I was literally homeless. So, when we want to heal these things, we have to look at ourselves. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means you have traumas and you've built up coping mechanisms and you think they're normal, but they're not. And so we build up these self-abusive tendencies that we don't even understand. Yes, it shook a lot of things. I am even moving out, which I didn't have the courage to do before. Amazing. But you see what I mean? You're starting to break cycles, and this is teaching you to speak up for yourself and stand up for yourself. So I don't see deception. Doesn't mean it's not there. I'm just not seeing it right now. Because I usually would get the demonic card if that would be the case, but I am seeing that this relationship is here. The point of this relationship is not even fuck it if he is or not, because it doesn't really matter. The point is this person, whether he was married or not, would still treat you like shit. Does that make sense? So that's the point that's coming up here. So you got to heal that, okay? So dive deep into your subconscious and start doing self-loving practices. That's the key to heal the relationships. So you stop attracting these douchebags, okay? Excuse my French, guys, but I get passionate about this because I've been there. They're not fun. So, Vicky, just a quick reminder, you deserve to be loved, you deserve a healthy relationship, and you, above all, you deserve to be respected and to love yourself, okay? Coming from another one who's been there. So I'm sending you so much love, and you've got this. You can do this. And anything outside of this is going to just be a level up. It's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it, okay? So I'm sending you love. Okay, Ashley, you're next. Yeah, I got stories, guys. I got stories for days. That's after my roommate I almost got into a fist fight with my roommate at that time, but that's a whole other story. Oh man, good times. Actually, I chose not violence because I knew, number one, that I would win because she was very frail, but she had serious issues. Anyway, whatever. The past. Of course, this wouldn't happen now because I fix myself on a different level, But it's funny how when you're in it, you don't understand, It's like, why are these things happening to me? And it's like, well, because you need to fix it. You need to fix yourself. You're attracting, you're accepting these people. Um, Ashley, are you still there? I'm just checking in. I'm assuming that you're typing. Um, because again, again, relationships are complicated. We all attract certain things, but I have not attracted like an abusive relationship like that in a long time since I've done the healing, and I think there's a reason for that. Okay, Ashley, are you still there? Just let me know. Even me might be typing, but if not, I'm going to move on. I'm not quite sure. A quick tip, guys, have your just type it, and then when it's your turn, just press enter so that you can send it quicker. Sometimes that helps. Ashley, are you there? I see your little bubble head. I'm not sure though if you're. That's okay, Max. Don't stress about it. Just whatever's going on for you. Like, how can I help you? And then just answer that question. Okay, Ashley, I'm going to skip you, but if you come back, let me know. So we're going to go to Adrienne. Yeah, if you guys don't know what to type, you can also just ask for a general reading as well. Sometimes that comes. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so Ashley came back. All right, so I'll do quickly Ashley and Adrienne. I've got your question as well. So general, and then Ashley, what do I need to know right now to do now today? What do I need to do now today? It's an interesting question. It's the first one I've ever gotten. Let's see. You got the fairy cards. Ooh, ooh, okay. Um, okay, you got romantic partner. Ooh. So, are you in a relationship or are you wanting a relationship? Because that, oh, wow, that flew out. Um, so let's see what else comes up. Oop, that one flew out too. Good old fairies. Sorry, phone died. Oh, that's okay. Okay. So, okay. So one of the things that I'm hearing here is like, well, you got your partner, right? So it's a few things that came up. So focusing on your relationship somehow. I don't know if your partner's going through something. You're so welcome, Kelly. Thank you so much. I heard that your partner might need your attention or focus for some reason. I don't know. He might be going through something. He might be stressed. The other thing is, as well, is that you need to take some time for yourself to reset your energy, quiet time, be in meditation, focus on settling in, and then miraculous healing. Okay, so today is a healing day for you. So I don't know whether it's to help your partner in some kind of way, but again, healing the partner, focusing on yourself, and understand that this is going to lead to more healing. So healing is the energy that comes up. But again, it's very interesting how the partner came up, but I felt like your partner needs you or something's going on, or maybe he just needs your attention or energy or something. But then you need to reset and focus on yourself. So, and nature, I don't know if you live around nature, but nature is also very good to recharge your battery. Simple question, simple answer, but that's what came up. So I hope that helped. Okay, Adrienne, general reading. So let's get to that. Okay, these ones want to come up. Oh, good. I'm glad that makes sense. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't make sense to me, but as long as it makes sense to you guys. All right, general. Oop, there we go. Ooh, okay, that was quick. Like, bam, bam. Yeah, grounding possible as well. Okay. So, Adrienne, something about energy exchange coming up. So, it could also mean money. So, one of the things is when you give, you also receive. Being resistant to change, extremes in how you save or spend money. So, I don't know whether you're And it could also be, think of money as well as like how you spend your energy or your focus or your time, something to do with energy essentially. So it could be financial, it could be literal like financial, or it could be like your focus and your energy. Then we got a connection with somebody, so it could also mean maybe you're putting too much energy towards something that isn't giving energy back. So there needs to be some kind of balance restored there. And a situation has ended. You are finally free. New opportunities for happiness will now follow. Put the past behind you. So I feel like there's something in a relationship that happened that maybe is causing this imbalance in you energetically. Maybe you're spending too much time focusing on it or hoping for something, or it could be, the hope that something would work out, or maybe it didn't work out and you're just still sad about it, or hoping for a relationship and it hasn't happened, or you're in a relationship and this person's draining your energy. Again, I haven't dived enough deep into it because we're doing a quicker one. But what it is saying is like you it's kind of like just um put your past behind you. So it's almost like let it go. Just bow down, just accept what happened, and bring back that balance. And how you're going to bring back that balance is by some kind of surrendering or letting go, or just go fuck it, I can't do anything about this, because it's creating some kind of imbalance. And again, I think it's the attachment and the hoping that something sorry, don't do that, some kind of outcome. So it's making you kind of a little bit even maybe act up. I'm seeing like shopaholic kind of thing, but maybe it's not shopaholic, but something within that energy that's coming up. So surrender, let it go, accept. It's kind of like take a bow. It's almost like, all right, I'm just fine. So that's going to make things easier, and it's going to open up new doors. I always say as well with people, by the way, if a lot of you want to create a relationship, but you'll hang up on your ex, it's like somebody still has rent in your heart and nobody wants to move in when somebody's already living in there. So we have to make that space in order for the new energy to come in. Okay, cool. I'm glad that resonates. Okay, Max, you're next. And then we have, I think it's Anne. What you doing, piggies? You're welcome. Iggy, what are you doing? He's so cute. It's funny, my guinea pig, he wasn't a very affectionate when I first got him, and now he comes after me all the time for like little pats, which is so cute when he does that. The other one is not friendly, but that's fine. I don't mind. But it's so nice when they trust you. What are you doing? Hi, are you running? What you doing, big boy? Okay. Oh, are you gonna do a little? Whoop whoop. Hi, I love you. You're gonna bite me? Don't bite me though. Whoop 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 whoop. Sorry, you guys can't see it, but they're adorable. Um, hey Dolly. Okay, pretty much I spoke to my therapist and I brought up voices, and he said I could try and manifest the voices away, but I was just curious if they are good or bad. I'm on meds to hopefully combat the voices. I still hear them sometimes, so I don't know. Okay. So let's dive in. Um, got you down, Barbara. You're after Anne. So, hi, Dolly. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so let me tune in. So, one of the things that you're going to know if the voices are bad or good is to begin with is like, what are they telling you? Okay. So, voices in general doesn't mean it's a bad thing. We all have gifts, we all have certain things that come up, but if the voices are telling you to do bad things or are speaking, give me 1 second because this is a little bit deeper than a quick. Oop, okay. Okay, so Max, very interesting what came up. So what I'm hearing here is that you are an open channel. So when we are an open channel, essentially we can tune into frequencies. Now, some of us some of us, unfortunately, are open to all kinds of energies. And so, what I'm hearing here with you is not so much it's bad or good, it's what you tune into. So, this is very important, Max. I want you to understand that you have a lot more control over this than you think you do. The problem is, no one has given you the tools. So, when nobody gives you a tool, it's almost like you have this machine gun that is going off and you don't know how to stop it. And what I'm hearing here very specifically with you, this is the card that essentially came up, right? So the voices come from above and you're downloading this information, this energy, and it's coming down on the top of your head and you're receiving it. So I want you to think of it kind of like you have the power to choose what antenna, where your antenna goes, but you also have the power to shut those voices down. Now, when you're afraid, though, when we have fear, let's just think of it kind of like a portal, right? And all these entities can come through. Um, so if we don't know how to shield our energy, if we don't know how to protect, and the fact that we even have power, we're just an open vessel for whatever comes through. So you probably hear some positive things and you're probably getting a lot of bad stuff, which is the scary stuff. Essentially, think of it kind of like angelic and demonic, okay? Demonic, not so much fun. Angelic, lots of fun. So what I'm hearing here essentially is that you've got to train yourself to protect your energy, but you've also got to train yourself to understand that this whole thing that's happening to you is to train you that you actually have these special gifts and that you are really in control of it. So you see how now you're holding that light. It's no longer shining down on you. It's something that you can actually use to do what you want with. So one of the things that came up is that you have to do daily energy shielding. Okay, I don't know if you do that. So I have a course on here that I think you should. I'm going to pin it now so you can see it. It's free for you because you guys are on the thing. I would highly recommend that you do this course. So it teaches you on how to shield your energy from low frequencies. I don't know, man. Therapists are not trained in the spiritual realm. So therapists are great for the logical stuff, which you still need. And I always encourage people to go and see a therapist, okay? You need the body, the mind, and the spirit. So you need the physical healing, you need the spiritual healing, and then you need the healing of the mind, the Trinity, okay? That's the key, by the way. So, oh, the psychiatrist actually. Well, that's when they give medication. So that's the mind training. Anyway, so a couple of things, Max. So number one, you got to do energy healing. You got to learn how to shield your energy from these beings. Okay, if you're an open vessel and you don't know how to protect yourself, this is another thing that a lot of empaths encounter. If you don't know how to protect your energy, you're going to be shat over. Okay, you're going to be totally abused and used, and you're going to be just destroyed. So we don't want that. So energy healing is one of the things. The second thing is you have to remember that you're in control. You might not know how right now, but you can figure it out. So the next thing is when these beings are talking to you, especially the demonic, they're going to use tactics. They're going to use tactics. They're going to use manipulation. They're going to use fear tactics. Remember that with demonic beings, they can only feed on your energy when you are weak and when you believe them and you create a level of exchange. Demonic energies cannot survive on their own fuel. They need you to feed them. So when you understand this, number one, when you start protecting your energy and you're saying, you no longer have any power over me, I'm choosing, you're not welcome. Like, piss off. And then you shift your focus to the angelic realm. I would talk to them a lot more, and I would basically say, I'm calling upon the angels to channel to me and through me now energies and frequencies so that I can protect my energy field and not allow these beings to enter my field. You do not have permission to enter. You have to claim it. You have to be empowered. You can even play games with yourself, Max, and even pretend that you're some sort of wizard. I mean, it sounds silly, but embodying a certain archetype empowers you, and your subconscious, you got to remember, does not know the difference between imagination and reality. And then the other thing is, this is really teaching you a lot, really, about it's strengthening you. It's teaching you something very, very deep. Wizards sound cool. I know, right? Who doesn't want to be a wizard? But I mean, the wizards work with the light. The warlocks work with the darkness. So we don't want to tap into the warlock energy, okay? Because they like the satanic stuff. The wizards only work with the higher beings. They work with the elementals and they work with the higher angelic beings. So you have the power to tune into these energies. And the more you focus, where your attention goes, energy flows, right? So when you focus on these things, they amplify. And then the other ones start diminishing. So which wolf are you feeding, right? And if you start believing these negative talks, guess what happens? You're feeding them. And I know it's easier said than done because I know the tactics that they use, but you have to remember, first thing that you should do every single day, Max, is shield your energy. You have to shield your energy. You are an open channel. So we want to choose where to use this energy and where to focus it. And again, just remember the wizard kind of thing. It's like, this thing is not above me. I'm taking it and I'm choosing where I'm going to place it. So yeah, so it's a quicker reading, but I hope that helped. Okay, so just start with these practices and then come back and tune in again, and we can dive deeper next time. But just start with that and do the course, because that's really going to help you on the basics on how to shield your energy, and I think that's going to help you a lot. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay, so Anne, you're next. And empaths need to do this course as well. So any of you who are empaths, guys, here today, do that course, how to shield your energy. And check out all my courses, by the way. I have courses on numerology. I have courses on self-esteem and self-worth. I have courses on manifesting soulmate. So go and check out my materials, guys, and especially my meditations, because I channel those things. I channel my meditations. I have a few new ones coming out, especially for people who are going through depression. It's not out yet, but it will come out, and they're very powerful because I channel them. So I wish I could take credit for that. And how do I move forward from communication with my mom? Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't talked to her in 2 years. She reached out recently. I haven't responded. Yeah, okay. I can relate to this one. Okay, so give me a second. So there's a reason why you detached, right? Because probably it was a toxic relationship, and there's a reason why you had to protect yourself. I'm going to see what comes up first, and then we can have a chat about that. Because, oh my god. Too many cards, man. You can't give me that many cards. No, 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 no. One at a time. Oop, there it is. Oop, there it is. Okay, see? So there's a difference. Great question, Max. There is a difference between sensitive and empath. So sensitive people are sensitive to energy. Empaths are sensitive to emotions, which reflect out in energy. But they're two different things. So empaths will feel what somebody else will feel. So they will feel guilt. They will feel shame. They will feel sorry. Sensitivity is more like, I walk into a room and I can feel a heavy energy, or I can feel the presence of a being, or I can feel lightness. So there's a difference between the two, but that's a great question. You can also be both. You could also be an empath and sensitive to energy, but they are different. Okay, so I think you are ready, and to talk to her. However, I will say, here's a couple of things. Let me just get more cards, because you guys have complicated questions. These are not like questions. Some of you are lighter questions, but my guinea pig just, oh, dude, you freaked me out. He jumped on my leg. Yeah, okay. So I will be honest with it. So there's a couple of things here. She's not going to change, Anne. So here's the thing that you have to accept. The only thing that you can change is yourself and your expectation, your reaction, and your connection to her. That's the only way you can move forward. So I think there's a part of you that is ready to reconnect, because I see strength and I see two hearts working together to make something happen. However, it's still going to be what it was. People, especially when they're older, unless they hit their head and they have an epiphany, they don't often change. So it's almost like you can only walk in there with a plan and strong boundaries. And if she doesn't respect them, then you have the power to step away again, and not to be afraid to do that again if necessary. But you have to protect yourself. That's the truth of the matter. So be aware, environmental awareness. Walk in knowing exactly what she's going to do. She's going to play the same game. She's going to do the same shit all over again. She's not going to heal. You can heal though because of this. And I know this because this is what I go through with my family. So you gotta, in a way, break free, and which you did, um, but move forward knowing that you're moving into the shit. It's not like you're moving in and hoping, moving into the connection with like her going, I see it now. I understand. You are right. It was my fault. Not gonna happen. You're moving in, if you are, it's because you need that connection for yourself and you don't want to maybe feel guilty for disconnecting. Or it's more like, you know, if she passes or if you pass, what did you wish that you did or didn't do? And that's the only thing that you can do. And sometimes this is the relationship stuff that sucks, because we are doing everything possible to make it work, but in relationships it takes two people to tango. So there has to be a level of acceptance that this is going to be crap. She's going to do the same thing. She's not going to change. I'm not going to get what I want from her. So I'm not doing this for that. I'm doing this because I don't want to feel guilty knowing that I cut her out. Or I'm doing this because I'm doing this for myself. Does that make sense? So if you want to, I would say, I mean, I have now very strong boundaries around my family in the sense, again, they're not bad people, my family, by the way. I'm going to make this very, very clear. They're really good people who are unhealed, who are not aware of their own wounds, and their wounds are bleeding onto me. And I am being sensitive, and the rescuer and the fixer, I end up taking them on, and then I ended up getting fucking beaten up with it. So and they do shit subconsciously that hurts, of course, because you give them a beautiful gold thing and they trash it. So and sometimes they self sabotage. They do things that do hurt me, and they don't even know that they did that. So again, so I've learned to put some boundaries. Does it mean I still don't get hurt? Yeah, I'm going to get hurt. I'm actually going to go and see my family in a couple of months. My whole family is going to be there in the same room. It's going to be intense, but I know what's going to happen. I'm not walking in there anymore as this vulnerable child who expects them to do the right thing. I expect them to fuck up, but I'm prepared. I've got an armor, and I've spoken to my husband about it. I was like, hey, listen, if this happens, this is what we need to do. If this happens, this is what we need to do. If this happens, this is what I'm going to do. This is what you could do. I'm coming in with a plan. Is it going to work? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Because let's be real, it's relationships. Am I going to get triggered? Probably. But at least I'm coming in with an armor. I'm not coming in with this vulnerable child who ends up getting beaten up and then coming back even more traumatized. So that's the only thing that we can do. But when you change yourself and your reaction to them, they kind of start changing a little bit, because they can't treat you the same way. They don't get their ways anymore. And the beautiful thing is that, we're staying there for a certain amount of time because I can only take so much. And again, it's not their fault. They don't mean to do that, but they're broken, right? And so hurt people hurt people. That's just how it works. Healed people heal people, though. But remember that. So when I'm walking into this, I have a plan. I know these things are going to happen because they don't change. They do the same shit. That people are so predictable, you guys, especially in family relationships. They're going to point out this thing. You're going to do this thing. And also look at yourself, right? So how do I want to react to the situation? What would somebody who loved themselves do? What would somebody with a healed perspective? And I'm really trying to forgive them. I'm really coming from a place, and not even for them, it's for me. Because I know the minute I heal that relationship, it's going to empower me. So I'm really coming in with like this hope. Is it going to work? I don't know. Some days you feel great and you're like got your shit together, and some days you're just off. Those are the days where you don't interact with them. Those are the days. Of course, if you're around them, it's a little bit more tough. But if you're just communicating on the phone, I don't answer the phone if I'm in a shitty mood with my mom or my dad. I will not. I will tell them I'll call them back when I'm feeling better, because every time I've done that, I've regretted it. So there are little things that you guys can do to protect yourself, but you got to play the scenario in your head like a movie, and how would you like to respond? Now, you got to add the emotional factor and the habit factor in there. The triggers and the emotional wound that's going to get activated, that how painful it is, and how do you normally react. And it's hard in the day, but if you do it, oh my god, it's such a sweet win. but you got to shift that reaction. So I've decided if my dad or my mom does a certain thing, this is how I'm going to respond to her, and I've replayed it in my heart, in my head, like a freaking broken record. And the few times that I've done it on the phone, I've definitely made the conversation a much more better conversation. And with my dad, I've decided this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna walk away. The minute I see he wants to start a fight, I'm gonna get up. I'm tired, guys. Thank you so much for the lovely evening, because there's gonna be red flags, there's gonna be little drops, there's gonna be things that are gonna start showing, right? You gotta just take your power back. And how they react, it's their fucking problem, because they're adults. Does that make sense? I know I'm being tough, but that's the truth of the matter. You know, it's only so much you can do. It's not my job to fix them. It's not my job to heal them. It's not my job to change them. Trust me, I've done that for a long time, and it doesn't lead to a good place. They have to make that decision for themselves. So you can't force that on them. And every time you probably have tried, how did it work out? Probably not great, guys, right? So take my power back. That sounds like me. Yes, and I got you now, Barbara. I don't have a partner. Yes, the negative patterns, and she drinks. Yeah, that's a hard one. My dad's an alcoholic too, by the way, just so you know. In the past, I haven't been so strong enough. I know, it's tough. Barbara, I'm with you in 2 seconds. I know. And whether I had a partner or not, just so you know, Anne, I would still make these choices. It does help. But I will say that my husband is not a confrontational person, and he's a complete avoider. So I actually, sometimes a partner can actually make it worse if the partner does not know how to support you. So you have your family, and then you have your partner who's not showing up for you. So I'm training my partner on what I need in that moment to support me when I'm going through that, because he will not see it. He shuts down, and he can shut down emotions and just be numb to it. I'm the opposite of that. So he might not even realize that there's tension going on and there's drama going on. Or if he would just cope with it in his own way, not realizing that if he doesn't help me, it's going to be a bad thing. So I trained him, and I said, hey, and I'm going to remind him when we go there. And of course, I'm not going to put the pressure on him. It's not his job to fix it, but he can help me through it as a partner. And I'm teaching him how he can help me through it. And also it teaches him how to ask me how I can help him when he needs something, right? Because that's how relationships, in my opinion, should be. Bring out the best in each other, you know, show up for me. And even like recently when I've been flying, I'm terrified of flying, you know, so I've been training him on how, like, this is what I need you to do when we're flying. This is what I need you to say to me. This is exactly, you know, so it helps, you know, it doesn't mean that they always do it. My son is 26, and he said he wants to help. Okay, great. So that's another thing, you know, it's like, but you got to be self-aware enough to know what you need. And that's a hard one sometimes. It takes a minute to figure that one out. But when you can figure that one out, it's good. And when the person shows up for you, it's beautiful. Because then it's not going to solve the problem. Like, I'm still going on a plane and I'm still shitting my pants and crying and having a panic attack. But he knows what to do to take control of the situation so that I don't have to. You know, and even with these situations, it's like, it's just nice to have that person going, I see you. I know you're suffering. I got your back. It sucks, you know, but I've got you. And it just makes it a little bit more comfortable. It's not going to take away the pain. It's not going to take away the discomfort. It's not going to fix the situation. But the whole point of this with the parents is to learn to be your own parent, be their parent, because they're not going to be your parent, especially if she's an alcoholic. Alcoholics are sick people, you know, and their alcohol, by the way, is to do with courage. So people who drink have a lot of fear. That's why it's called liquor courage. Yeah, I know, she's an alcoholic. And alcoholics go in cycles. You know, my dad is a fun alcoholic. Like, he's very funny. You know, he will like make jokes and this and this, but then he gets super sloppy now. And because he's been doing this for so long, and he doesn't want to change, which is fine. You do you, boo. And he lives in Italy. Everybody's fucking alcoholic over there anyway. But like, but there are the times where he's fine, and then he's not fine. And then he blows up. And then it's scary. And then he's fine, everything's fine again. And then, oh, here we go, we blow up again. You know. So I know the cycle. I know the pattern. Now, if she's a bad alcoholic where she gets violent and aggressive and all that sort of stuff, that's a whole other ballgame. Then you might have to just shut her out again. It's just like, you know. So when does she start drinking? Does she drink all day, or does, you know, my dad only drinks from a certain time. So I know after a certain time I can cut it off, which makes it easier. Or I know, okay, here we go again. He's doing the fucking thing. So, what do you do? How do you handle it? Like, you got to be smart about to navigate around them. Um, they don't want to change. There's nothing you can do. I've worked in rehab and my dad still wouldn't listen to me. So, I'm like, all right, you keep doing you, boo. Have fun. In the meantime, I'm out. Yeah, and that's because there's shame. So you're now adding the alcoholism and the shame, and she might be a good functioning alcoholic, which my dad used to be. He's not anymore because he's getting old. He's actually got the shakes now. I've noticed it. It's sad. It's fucking sad. But also, like I tell him, like, you're an alcoholic, right? And he's like, no, I'm not. I never get drunk. I'm like, it's just complete fucking denial. But he doesn't want to change. So it's like, you got to love him for the fucked upness that they are. And it's just accepting that within them. It's just like, okay, I get it. You don't want to change. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. And I know because I have had addiction problems. So, yeah, it's a tough one, Anne. But if you're ready to reconnect, then have boundaries, like I said. But you might have to disconnect again. And it's just, it's going to be this back and forth. But if somebody's violent or aggressive, or there's an alcohol's a tricky one. But then don't be around them. But you've got to be strong when you see her, and you've got to be in charge, and you've got to be in control. If you're not in control, don't do it. Okay, so I'm going to move on with Barbara because she's the last one, but I'm wishing you all the best, okay? Just would like to know about future with job and my relationship with current man in my life. Okay, let's find out. Relationships are fun, guys, aren't they? Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, and I love it that you guys support each other in the chat and stuff. It's important. And by the way, it's tough, when it comes to addiction. It's a whole other ball game. It's something that also they want to change. I'm sure, my dad wants to quit. But he's got way too much pride. My dad is also very narcissistic, so he's a very generous person when it comes to money, but when it comes to other things, and he's a loving man. He means so well, but it's this inner child that is so fucked up and wounded, and he's trying so hard to keep everything going. So there's like a lot of love and compassion as well there. All right, so what was the question? You guys just would like to know about future job and my relationship with the current man in my life. So I feel, I don't know what's going on. So friendship came up when I was thinking about the guy. I heard friendship. So I don't know. I'm feeling like this guy is I feel like he's a good friend. There's a friend vibe to it. Um, and again, it could also mean maybe what you need from a relationship, Barbara, by the way. But essentially, you need somebody who supports your dreams. So if this person's not supporting your dreams, then that's a big red flag. But what I'm hearing here is that you really need people around supporting you and your career. I feel like there's something here to do with the career or this vision or this dream. There's a dreaminess to you. There's like, I have this vision. I want this big thing. I'm reaching for the moon. And you need somebody to support that. So what I'm hearing here, essentially, if this person is not supporting that, then that's a red flag. But if they are, then that's a great thing. Now, I heard wait for winter. So I don't know what to do with this job. Um, so something about winter. So winter time, something's going to happen, and I think it's to do with the job. So I don't know if you're waiting to get a job or if you want maybe a promotion or something to change within the job. I love that. So that's a good sign. Okay, so that's good. Because that's what I kept hearing. It's a weird one, because I was like, oh, friendship. What is this? So I heard that you guys. Sorry, my pants just decided to curl up. Oh, so much more comfortable. Um, so that's a good sign then. That's telling me that this person's good. So something about winter. I don't know what this means. I don't usually get time frames, but I'm hearing winter. So something's going to happen in winter, and I think this is to do with the job. So I don't know whether it's a shift, whether it's a promotion, whether it's an actual job that you're going to get. Something's happening around winter. The other thing that came up was stargazing. When you gaze for the stars, give yourself a very focus. Your intuition will flow more freely and reveal what you need to know about your situation. So again, I feel like this is about your job, right? Looking up, wanting something better or something bigger. You have like a yearning for something. Um, and I love this picture because it reminds me of my favorite saying, which is reach for the moon, because at least if you miss, you'll still be amongst the stars. So sometimes when we reach for bigger things, it makes us have to do bigger things. And even though if we don't get what we want, we've gone much further than what we thought we could. Um, there is something about you being blocked. So I feel like there's this all either options or too many decisions or too many worries or something surrounding you, which is making you feel stuck. So again, I feel like maybe you have, again, it's hard for me to pinpoint what it is, but hopefully it's making sense to you. And that's the most important thing. And then I do see financial success coming in, steady progress. So this is not something that's going to happen overnight for you, but it's something that's going to take time. And you got the number 4, which is the master builder. So it's something that you got to build, something that you got to create. But whatever these things that are around you, you got to get rid of them. Okay. I'm hearing prioritize something. I'm not getting very specifics around it. But there is financial gain. But it's going to be something that's going to take a bit of time, and it's going to have to be built. When you talk about number 4, it's like the foundation of something that you build upon. And 4 means hard work and long time. So it's not something that's going to happen now, but it will come. So not quite sure what that is, but hopefully that made sense to you. As long as it makes sense to you, that's the most important thing. So if it didn't, ask for clarification so we can dive deeper. But if it made sense, then we're good. Okay, good. Made sense. Doesn't have to make sense to me as long as it makes sense to you. Sweet, man. Okay, guys. So before we close out, any more questions, even just about relationships, spirituality, any of my courses that I have on, tarot reading, whatever you want. Now it's the time. I'm opening questions as we are slowly going to close out. Could you share the collective card from the beginning? So the collective reading, yes. So the collective reading essentially was something to do about identity coming up at the moment, which is actually tends to theme out a lot with this. So the time is moving faster than normal, and when the year of the horse, the fire horse. So right now the energy is fucking kicked in. So what's happening with a lot of us, essentially, I heard there's a lot of people suffering and having depression and having a hard time. It's because there's a lot of identity shifting that is happening. And Lonely, for instance, is one of those that you're going through right now, my love. So something that even happened to me recently, it's like things are changing, things aren't going the way that normally they would go, and it's because it's revealing to us the things that we have to shift or we have to upgrade or we have to strengthen. And identity shift essentially is all about the things that we hold on to, especially from our past or these ideas or whatever it is, and it's causing suffering. So what it's teaching us that we basically have to learn to adapt, and we have to learn to make changes. So this is either a time to step the fuck up or to basically like let go of something and dive into something else. Because if it's something is really meant for you, and I love this saying, is like even when you try to let it go, it'll come back. But sometimes the old relationship that we have with something is stale, and it's like repeating the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different outcome. So I can only use my acting career as an example. Like I've had the last 2 years has been very good. I've upgraded, right? I've done really well. But now I try to go back to acting class, and to be quite honest, it's expensive and it's taking away time from my business, which means I can't afford it now because my time is how I make money, and now it's become a bit difficult. So I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I have to pivot. It's not going to work out, and it's causing suffering because I don't want to, trust me, when it comes to money, I'm like, I like money. I've been poor. Like you guys saw, I was homeless for about a week. That sucked. When you can't even afford to get yourself a hotel, that's bad. So I know what it's like not to have money. It's like, I'm not doing this again. So I'm pivoting. And then suddenly, like, I had this 2 days of depression. And in my depression, I was asking myself the questions like, what am I learning from this? And I told you one thing after the other kept going wrong. And this is what's going to happen to a lot of you. Like, I literally got 7 different bills show up out of nowhere. I got a medical bill. My pet sitter decided to increase her rate all in one day. I had like 2 or 3 other things that came up. My bank account just literally got drained. And then on top of that, I'm feeling sad, and I hit my head against something and I stumbled on something. It was comical. Then I went on to do a performance and it was embarrassing. Like I embarrassed myself so much in front of like a whole audience because I said something really stupid. And it's just one thing after the other, you know. And I sat in this pain and I was just like, oh my god, I want to die today. I just don't, you know. But I sat here, I was like, okay, what I'm learning from this. And then I did a little mirror work and I just talked to myself and I was like, I set you free from this. Like, what is this identity that you're holding on to? What is my best path? It makes you do desperate things, but in a good sometimes in a good place. And then this morning when I woke up, I got the download. And then suddenly I'm like, all right, now I know what to do. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to get an agent in Australia. I'm going to get an agent in Atlanta. And I'm going to get an agent in Europe. And I messaged my agent. And then she was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll help you with that. Then I got a SAG check as confirmation. So these are little things that I'm like, that's a confirmation that I'm doing the right thing because I needed to step the fuck up. And just because I'm not going in class anymore doesn't mean that I'm missing out on anything. It just means that you got to shift your energy. You got to shift your identity. You got to shift. And I'm not giving up. I mean, and if I have to give up, that's also okay. Sometimes letting it go and saying, maybe I'm not meant to do this. So it's just trying different things at the moment and figuring things out. And it's hard. It's hard because it's an identity shift. So what used to work doesn't work anymore. And so we have to try different things and be sometimes okay with the pain right now. It's like, and when you're in pain, guys, when you're suffering, you got to keep asking the question, what is this teaching me? What do I need to change? What can I do about this? No guts, no glory. Yes. I feel like I'm going to war. So it's hard because, you know, it's challenging, but things can also change very quickly as well. So does that make sense, Cassie? I had to use myself as an example, but oh, Eve is back. Hey, how you doing, girl? I just finished doing the reading, so if you still want me to do a quick one for you, I'm happy to, Eve. So if you have a question, just ask. That does resonate with your life. Okay, cool. What's your question, Eve? I'll use my cards for you just to do a quicker one. Because I'm actually closing out, but because I remember you wanted to, I'll... Will I judge you? Do I come across as somebody judgmental? Why would I judge you? Why would you say that? What's your question, love? So this is telling me immediately that you're afraid to ask me something because you're afraid that, well, obviously you feel afraid to be judged, but this is really just about you feeling that you will judge yourself. I have a crush on a girl, amazing, on girl's crush and doesn't like her, but he likes me. Oh, okay, so I have a crush on girl's crush. You mean she or he? Because you put he, so I'm kind of confused there. Doesn't like her. He doesn't like her, but he likes me, so is popular and could ruin my life in a span of what do I do? Okay, so let me rephrase this because this is very confusing. You have a crush on a girl. Her boyfriend likes you. Oh, no. Okay, so you have a crush on a friend's boyfriend. So, yeah. Sorry. This is good. I think I got it. On a girl's crush. Got it. Okay, sorry. Punctuation. Got it. Got it. Got it. You have a crush on your friend's crush. Now I'm with you. But he likes me and she is popular and can ruin life in a snap. Okay. So, I have personally, Eve, I mean, this is up to you. Okay. So, if he likes you and you like him, I mean, people choose each other for a reason. Yeah, this can be a little bit tricky. Let's just see what the cards say. So how you feel about people is not boys in my class of the university. A girl also likes him. He likes me, not her. She's obsessed with him and could ruin my life. Got it. Yeah, got it. Well, she sounds lovely. Why are you friends with somebody who can ruin your life? You know? But let's see what comes up. I will say I do have very strict rules in my past. One thing I always liked about myself, and again, it's easier said than done, but I have crossed line in other ways. I would never flirt or date with somebody who a friend liked. That I had boundaries around. However, when I was much, much, much younger, I would get involved with guys who had, I would try to get a guy who had a girlfriend, which fucking awful from my side. Um, but we're human, okay? And we are going to make mistakes, and we are also not perfect, and that's okay. So the first thing that I got is the leprechauns. Okay, love. So what I'm hearing is a couple of things here. Is I think you're a little bit blinged out, and what I mean by blinged out is that sometimes we like people because of the idea of them more so than the actual person. So when I see money and when I see material stuff, I do think that he likes you, but sometimes the reality of the relationship isn't what we really want. It's the idea of what they have or what they can give. So I'm seeing a little bit of that here. So I'm hearing that this is not going to be a deep relationship for you, maybe. I mean, it could eventually evolve into that, but just be aware. Like, I think you should ask yourself the question, like, am I really liking this person because of who they are? Do I know them well enough to really have this big crush on them? Or am I just in love with the idea of who they are? Does that make sense? And listen, it's totally normal, by the way. If somebody's hot with a six pack, they seem to have this amazing life, it's like completely normal. But then when you get involved with them, they turn out to be a douchebag, and you're like, that wasn't actually what I thought it was. But I'll still stick around because they're flashy and. So just be aware of that. So when you think of this, is it worth the drama? Okay. What I would say is that there's no rush because there's a lot of anxiety, and that's what came up. The star Mers is really about feeling ungrounded and yeah, okay, you don't have a good history with man. That's awesome. That's good to know. And I'm glad that you have that self-awareness, love, because that's so important. So what I'm hearing here is that oh shit, now what was I saying? I lost my trail of thought. It'll come back to me when it needs to. But essentially what I'm hearing here is there's some ungroundness, okay? There's a lot of anxiety, and that's not great, So okay, now it's coming back. So what I'm hearing here essentially is that give it a bit of time. You don't have to go and rush things. Like if somebody's meant to be with you, Eve, they will be with you. You know how long my husband waited for me? He waited 3 years before we even started dating, and we were friends for 3 years. That man waited a long time because he knew I was the right person. I wasn't ready. So, and when we force some things, when it's not the right time, it just doesn't work out. This girl, whoever she is, she's probably gonna get over him at some point if she doesn't get him, or she's probably obsessed with him because maybe she can't have him. But if this guy really likes you, he's gonna pursue you, and maybe this is something that you can talk to her about. Sometimes we gotta be mature about the situation. Sometimes that can backfire, but I can tell you right now, I have a story with this actually. Except that the girl tried to beat me up with another 10 girls, but that's a whole other story. Her boyfriend hit on me. Anyway, but like sometimes, and what I did is I told her, I said, hey, just so you know, your ex came in and kissed me. And I rejected him, but he kissed me. And she just went off and did the whole thing. So she reminds me a little bit of this girl, right? But she never touched me. She tried to. She wanted to beat me up, but she knew I did the right thing deep down, and then she never did. I was 12 years old, by the way, at the time, guys. Just gonna just say that. So what I'm hearing here, Eve, is that this is something that, is it worth the drama? Is it worth the trauma? Is it worth all of this? Is this guy really worth all of this? And again, be aware of what you're attracted to. You're attracted to the idea, but I don't think it's worth the fucking drama. Okay. So if it's meant to be with this guy, it will happen. It will be the right place, right time, and you don't have to do squat. It will come to you. But if he does, then I would go to the girl and say, hey, just so you know, how would you feel about this? And I wanted to come to you because we have a connection, or he, or whatever, but like there's options here. It's not just like, what do? I have no power. It's like, but you got to calm down your nervous system, because when you're in panic mode, we make shitty decisions. So that's what's there. Okay, so think about it that way. Step back, take your time. Is this worth the fucking drama? Is this guy really worth my life being ruined? Because most of the time they're not, and there's somebody better there for you who won't create the drama, who won't destroy your life, and somebody who will align with it. Okay. Yeah, when I was a kid, I lived in a small town in Italy, and this girl, she was known for being a menace. Like, she would go around and beat people up, and everybody was scared of her. Grazia, her name was. And I got involved with this bad crowd, of course. And her boyfriend, who was my best friend's brother, I was just sitting, and he was 18, by the way. I was 12. Let's just remind ourselves of that. I was sitting down eating some like candy in her room, and he just walks in and just kisses me out of nowhere. And I remember just like sitting there going, what the fuck just happened? And because I was so scared of her, I called her and I said, just so you know, he kissed me. And then she threatened to come and beat me up because, of course, she's an idiot. Anyway, we used to go to this day disco, and she showed up and she cornered me in the bathroom with another 10 girls. And she starts yelling at me and starts going off. It's like, I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to this. I'm going to that. And I remember just saying, just stay calm, just stay calm, just stay calm. And I looked at her and I said, Grazia, I told you the truth. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you're beating me up for telling you the truth. That's on you. And then she went to like lunge at me, but then she somehow shifted her energy, and she grabbed this thing on the wall. There was like this metal bar, and she started pulling it, and she ripped it out of the wall. And then the security guard comes in and picks her up and kicks her out. And then that was it. So it was the weirdest experience of my life, but it was crazy. I think I time warped then at that time, but at Harvard, girl. It's fine, Eve. I don't expect the donations, but I appreciate it. But if you're at Harvard, you shouldn't be broke for too long, hopefully. So yeah, guys, I got crazy stories. No 12-year-old should obviously be cornered by 10 girls. A couple of times I've almost gotten beaten up, actually, now that I think about it. And every single time I managed to get my way out of it. Um, Luckily, I don't attract that anymore. Anyway, gangster, spiritual gangster over here, guys. So, okay, guys. So, any more questions before we close out? The violence that you attract in a way, but it's also humans are violent, I think. Thank you. All right, guys. So, any more questions? No. So, all right. So, let's close out. Unless you can still question, I'll still see it. I know sometimes it takes a second for the info to come through. Oh man, we've almost been here for 3 hours. I honestly have so much fun with you guys, and I'm so grateful that you guys show up. And I know some of you just hang out and just listen. Should I do a meditation on clearing out low vibrations before the enemy clearing? I love it, the enemy clearing. Yeah, I mean, Max, I feel like you're in a place where you got to do a lot of energy work. Okay, you have to do a lot of energy work, a lot of clearing. I got it, but I think that was a Freudian slip right there. um, Enemy energy kind of go hand in hand there. So yeah, so do me a favor, Max. I mean, try and see if my meditations resonate with you. I do have a lot of meditations around clearing negativity, around healing, all of that sort of stuff. So go and check them out. But any other meditation, I'm sure would happen. Just find somebody that resonates with you. But I feel like my meditations also are specifically not just on healing, but they're also on energy clearing. I do have one that I recommend for you. It's called Angel Reiki. So go and see if you can find that one. The Angel Reiki is a very powerful one because you call down the angels to do Reiki on you. And when they do Reiki on you, they do some powerful shit. I don't know what they do, but they do stuff there. Of course, you're welcome, Eve. So, yeah, so go and check those out. Obviously, do the How to Shield Your Energy course, Max. Very important for you. You got to learn how to shield your energy. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out. I try to do these once a week, but my schedule's been thrown out the last couple of weeks. I was traveling and stuff, and I will also be traveling again soon. So I'll be gone maybe for a while. I don't think I could do these in Italy. I'll be in Italy, and so it'll be a little bit difficult. But I am so grateful for your time, for your energy, for hanging out, for connecting, for supporting each other. Make sure you follow. Make sure you check out my profile and all this sort of stuff, That's what I'm here for. So hopefully it resonated with you. And that's it. So I'm going to check out. So I'm sending you so much love, guys. Thank you so much. And as always, Have a magical day. I will see you soon. Bye bye.